think he'll actually be your favorite.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's so fucking cool. I'm not gonna say his last name, but because that would be a spoiler. But his name's Jairo. You'll meet him eventually, and he's so fucking cool.
Okay.
I love JoJo so much. It is such a badass series. Oh, speaking of which, Demon Slayer is actually doing a movie. One day only, March 3rd. This actually goes for anybody watching. It's playing for one day universally across the entire world. It's the summarization of the Entertainment District arc, which I think is the best arc.
What do you mean by only one day? Like it's only in theaters?
Yeah, in theater one day. That's it.
Okay.
And then it's gone everywhere. But yeah, it's the summary of the Entertainment District arc, which is the best arc of Demon Slayer in my opinion currently. And then the first episode and like a brief introduction to season 3, which I'm stoked as shit for. Like,
Both of y'all caught up on that?
I'm not caught up. No,
I am.
actually, I'm caught up on the show, not the manga.
I'm not reading the manga.
I haven't watched the second season. I need to watch the second season. I liked the first one. I thought it was really good.
Oh, dude, if you like the first
Yeah.
one,
And the second is better. Like the pacing and shit's way better.
it's way better.
Yeah.
I thought Inosuke is one of my favorite characters. I think it's great.
Oh, if you love Inosuke, you're gonna love the
Yeah.
next arc. He's so sick. But like, Mugen Train is so good.
Yeah, I got to that exact part.
Yep. But Entertainment District, you're gonna meet Tengen, who's so sick. My buddy actually went to an anime con. This was so funny. I went to an anime con, and I put a stream title, which was trying to get my buddy a girlfriend.
Okay.
And then I would get him to take photos with every single cosplayer there.
Oh, that's good.
It was so cool. It was so cute because he was so nervous every single time.
Okay, so did you get a girlfriend? No.
Yeah, he played some video games with him for like a night or two, and then he's like, "I'm good." Like, that's okay, man. You tried.
I mean, if they do a big premiere for that, I will watch the entire series, get caught up, just so I can live stream the event.
Yeah.
Because that would be crazy content. Because
Yep.
you know, like one of these Austin theaters is going to do, like maybe Alamo Drafthouse or something is going to do some big event for
It's
it.
sold out.
What?
Alamo Def is already sold out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we should go, but
Cinemark is not sold out. Draft House is sold out.
How do you know that?
I checked last night.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I'm going 100%. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm going to be doing a subathon during it.
Okay.
But I'm going to go no matter what.
Okay.
And here's what I'm going to do. This might be a dick move. Oh
Live stream the movie on Kick.
my God. You're right. No way.
wait. So at that point, are they sending the DMCA to the site or to the streamer?
I don't know.
Like, how does that work?
They
Because on
send it-
Twitch, isn't it to the streamer?
They send it to the site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a dick move to buy extra seats because you don't want to sit next to people? In your humble opinion.
For something that's gonna be sold out, I think, yeah.
More rich people throwing their weight around. I can guarantee you that people are gonna get mad about that.
Because I just like, what I do is when I go to a movie theater, if I ever go alone or with a friend, I just get the seats on the side and then I just buy one extra. That way there's just some breathing room between us and them because I get weirded out. And honestly, I'm a loud talker and I don't want to bother them. I'm a whisperer. I'm a talker during
Dude,
movies, man.
There's
talk during
one
movies?
seat gap isn't gonna make a difference in them hearing you. I'm sorry.
gonna be honest,
You
like,
should buy the whole like.
Yeah,
for us,
exactly.
then in that
I
case.
used to sleep in a bed with 5 dudes.
That's not. And that's
So
great.
it's like if I'm like, I remember like sitting coach and like whenever we flew out to LA, like I was shoulder to shoulder with like other people. Doesn't bother me at all. Like I can have people like next to me, touching me, doing anything. I am not uncomfortable in any bit.
So what's the context on you sleeping with 5 dudes?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, like, so, like, everybody, we would always stay over at my house, and then, like, you know, we'd just be over there, and then we'd go out, like, do some crazy shit, then come back home, and, like, it's like we were originally thinking, because it'd be usually, like, me and, like, my other friend, we'd usually sleep in a bed, and then everybody else sleep on the floor, but then the problem is, like, the floor is like, hard, and so nobody wants to sleep on the floor, people sleep on a bed, so, like, people are like, okay, well, we're gonna sleep on the floor, and then they sleep on the floor for, like, 10 minutes, or like, all right, move over, man, and then everybody else is sleeping on the bed. That's how it happens.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is what it is.
That's sick.
So, like, yeah, I mean, I have no problem. Like, none of that stuff bothers me. But, like, I always worry about making other people uncomfortable.
Yeah. See, I can't
So,
do
like,
that. Like,
what?
I don't know. I really enjoy my personal space. Like, I really enjoy it. I don't know what it is. I've always been uncomfortable. Like, people being in like and not even just me, but I also feel like I might be burned in their space. I can't do that, man. Like, you know what? I'm the guy who sits on an airplane in the middle seat, and then I sit like this.
Yeah.
That way I don't touch anybody at all.
Well, I do the same thing, but it's
Yeah.
not because of me. It's because I don't want to make them uncomfortable.
Exactly.
I think strangers do
Exactly.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Which sucks is like realistically, like these people are like 5'2". I'm like 6'8".
Yeah.
I want to be sitting like this, but like I don't want to touch them. That's
Yeah.
weird. I'm good.
I've had plenty of times, like in the, going downtown in Austin, people put their hands on you. People grab you in places where they should not grab you. And they just do. No, they just. It's downtown. Like, that's how it is.
I haven't
And-
gone there yet. I haven't
Really?
experienced-
Yeah,
I haven't
I've had
experienced
people do that to me a lot.
that. What?
Yeah.
That is so
Like, why?
weird.
Just to, like, because you're in their way, or like just because?
Both. Sometimes they'll grab me if I'm in their way, and it's not even really. It's not like grabbing you. It's just that's just how people act. They like just put their hands on you or something like that.
That's so weird. I don't know. For like social situations like that, even thinking about that just stresses me out. Like, dude, I went to a party yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm still fucked up by this. But I just had like, it was just one of those days like my anxiety was kind of high. So like, and I only smoke socially, and I really hate it. And I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore for a long time because I'm so messed up today. Hopefully nobody can tell. But like, I smoked like 4 or 5 cigarettes yesterday.
Oh,
Oh my
And
god.
it feels like my lungs are collapsing right now. Like, it is bad.
oh my god.
Like, dude,
Ooh.
social smoking, social drinking. I just wish it wasn't a thing, man. It's just a, you gotta
It's
loosen up
not.
sometimes.
It's not. You just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you
hard.
really don't have to.
No, yeah, 100. I know. I could just not be nervous, but the problem is that I'm fucking nervous.
Oh.
I've
I-
never
I get
worried
that.
about that.
Yeah, because like it's hard to know the dynamic of what a normal conversation is. Because like I don't know, it's different because like I talk to a lot of people on Discord. I talk to a lot of people like as streamers.
Yeah.
I still barely don't. I don't really get what a normal conversation is supposed to feel like or what the pacing is. It's difficult.
Oh, I'm terrible at conversations.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Like, how are you supposed to know? Because every single person you talk to is like it's different.
I always worry that I'm going to go over the line, where I'm going to say something that is just like super offensive, or it's going to like really upset them, and then they're mad at me. And it's like, for me, this is just something normal because there's almost nothing somebody can tell me that's going to like really upset me or like make me mad. So I just will usually, like, I always have to make sure that I'm being careful to not like offend somebody or be rude to them or something like that.
Because you're telling it how it is.
Well, I mean, I'm just an asshole.
Sick.
Yeah, no, it's not everybody else's fault. It's my fault, right? I mean, I'm the, like, you have problems with all these other people, and then what's the one common denominator? You. Well, I wonder what the real problem is here.
Yeah.
Right? It's obviously me. So, like, I just try to scale things back a lot because, like, I don't want to accidentally, like, offend somebody or say something to, like, make them mad.
Did you share a lot of similarities with your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does your dad also like getting shit for like saying shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause
He's on painkillers all the time because he used to get in bar fights constantly, and he only regrets that he can't do it now.
that's
So
sick.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I saw that. I don't ever get in a fight with it. I've gotten in a fight like once. That's it, and I would never want to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's like I try not to be rude. That's why I'm like very reserved with people because I never want to go over the line.
I think I've maybe been in like 3 or 4 fights, and then I've gotten bodied like countless amounts of times.
Yeah.
Like when it's 2v1, you can't do anything. People think that you can do something because they see the movies. You can't do shit.
No.
Like, what do you do? Especially if you're a grappler. You
Yeah.
grapple somebody, the other guy just hits you in the back of the head with like a brick. You lose, man. It's so dumb. But I wanted to ask you this. Because I share a lot of similarities with my dad, too. Your parents were together, right? Your parents were together?
Nope. They divorced when I was 5.
Okay. So my parents also divorced before, like, I was born.
Okay.
Did your dad ever get you to wingman for him?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
I mean, did you ever have an experience like that or no?
No, my parents not divorced.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my dad used to bring me to bars and like bring me up to like the waitresses and be like, look how cute my son is. Look at my boy. And then just use me as like the gateway to bring chicks back to his house.
That was never an issue.
Really?
Yeah, that's absolutely it. And was never an issue at all in any way.
Really? I thought it was
No.
hilarious. Like going to Hooters with my dad.
That doesn't make
Oh,
like,
go to, oh God.
What?
I'm so. How does that work? Like they're like, oh wow.
What a cute kid.
His son is so cute. I want to go home and get with him. Like I don't. What?
Wait,
I'm having a hard time understanding this.
There's some
Really?
women that like that idea. I'm sure like it's the same with everything, right? There's a spectrum for it.
it's like I was like a cute puppy, you know? You use the cute
Yeah,
puppy as an
exactly.
icebreaker, and then he tells them about his war stories. And then, you know,
Okay. Icebreaker.
yeah, it makes sense.
You were an icebreaker.
Yeah,
child.
I was like a cute little dog, and I would sit there and with like socially awkward playing my Pokemon Black and White while my dad was picking up chicks at Hooters. Which, by the way, Hooters was badass. You know?
Kidding me? I went to Hooters. I love thinking about titties, and I love chicken,
Yeah.
but I don't like them together.
Well, how old were you last time you went to Hooters?
Like 18, 19, 20.
That was peak. I get if you don't like it
I
now,
know.
but back then it was awesome.
Why would I want to go there?
Well, because it's good wings and boobies.
Why do
Things are not that good.
They're
Really,
not
the buffalo
that
wings
good.
are bussin'.
Also, they expect a bunch of tips, and there's always these like 55-year-old guys that are there, and you know their wife doesn't know they're there, and they're sitting there trying to flirt with some 19-year-old waitress, and I don't want to see it because it makes me think, oh my God, what if that happens to me?
Yeah.
Like, what if one day, maybe it's not me, maybe it's one of my friends, and I'm like imagining, oh, I have a friend that's bald, and then this guy kind of looks like my friend. Holy fuck, is this our future? Oh, my God, I need to go lay down. I'm having an existential crisis. This chicken doesn't taste good. It's $38. Oh, my God. Yes, I'm losing my. No, I hate that place.
Then go to Twin Peaks.
It's the same thing.
Twin Peaks is bougie Hooters, bro.
Yes, I know that. That's where all the bikers go. Yeah. I know.
The way that you were describing it is actually hilarious because my buddy and I we do this weird thing where whenever we have really good food, we describe it as if we're having a heart attack or like we're having a seizure. We're like we'll take a bite of our sushi and we'll be like, I'm gonna be real, my right arm has gone numb and I can't feel my heart.
I've seen this in person.
Really?
I've witnessed this. Well, you like have like emotion in your face and body too.
Yeah.
Like you'll be like freaking out.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro, I enjoy my sushi. I went there the other day. I had flounder for the first time. That shit was crazy.
Those things with a thing with two eyes on one side of the face.
Maybe it's the yellow and blue fish from Little Mermaid.
Okay.
You know, I ate that motherfucker.
Yeah, they like lay on the seabed.
we have to get Asmund to try sushi sometime.
That's really funny.
No, I'm being
Yes.
serious.
That's hilarious.
I'm being serious.
Very funny.
We actually have to wrap up now because we have
We
to
have
go
the-
to.
We have the panel. Do you want to do the game?
Yeah. Wait. Game time?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do the game.
So this will be probably airing after the first,
Yes.
maybe even the second
No,
episode.
this is
Well, I'm gonna be
After
on
the
the first
second
episode.
episode.
Yeah, Mia, you're gonna be on the first episode.
yeah. Well,
Oh
well,
boy.
this episode of the podcast is airing after the second episode of his show.
Yeah. I'm actually really stoked that y'all are gonna be on the first episode. We have a really, really, really good lineup for like the entire show already. I'm actually stoked. I can't wait to do this, but I wanted to give you all a little sneak peek on what you can expect
Okay.
for the show. Now, Asmund, you might struggle with this a little bit,
Okay.
okay? And that is okay. So I'm gonna tell you a couple of emotes. They should, pretty sure they're gonna appear on the screen. And all you gotta do is just tell me.
No, you try and do that second one. Is that supposed to be like me or some shit? Like, is that some bullshit? Like,
No, so
So this is
the category is anime.
well, it's obviously Full Metal Alchemist.
yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah.
It is that easy. The two little brother emojis, obviously Edward and Alphonse, magic, the alchemy, they swap into robots. Easy.
Easy.
Dude, badass. Okay, next one. Okay, we have a key emoji, a shot, a needle of sorts, a lightning bolt, swords, monkey, and a potato emote. What anime is this?
One Piece.
Nope.
This is an anime.
Yep. So the key, I'll give you some hints. There might be a character that really likes to eat potatoes.
Oh, this is Attack on Titan.
There it is.
I haven't
Okay.
seen enough of it.
Yeah. So Sasha really likes eating
Wait, what's
potatoes.
the key? Is it?
The
like-
key is to unlock the cellar.
Oh yeah, this.
Yep. Yep. The lightning that like shoots through their bodies and they transform into titans. The war happening with the swords. And the monkey, obviously representing the beast titan, which I thought was sick. And now we have the next one, which is a knight emoji, a pizza emoji.
This is Code Geass.
Oh my god. Holy shit. That's
Impressive.
disgusting. Yeah, the knight obviously.
Wait, are these all animes?
Yeah, all of them
Oh,
are anime.
sick.
Yeah. The knight one is obviously for the chest they would always play with Lelouch, the eye being the Gios. I mean, you get the rest. It's pretty straightforward. We have 3 more to go.
Okay.
There is no way Emmy does not get this immediately.
This is Mob Psycho.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
That's so good.
so freaky. 100, obviously being Mob Psycho 100.
The broccoli tree.
Yeah, Broccoli Tree, the ghost, all that shit. The next one,
Broccoli goes on a tree?
there's a big old broccoli tree.
Are those real?
No.
Okay.
Is this
where
Vinland
does-
Saga?
Bro, Emmy,
Okay,
chill.
on the next one, I'll let
This
him
one
go.
was supposed to be for Asmund.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, that'd be Vinland Saga. Sure.
Yeah, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, half of the first season. I stopped watching it.
You should.
I didn't stop because it's bad.
I did the
Yeah.
same thing.
The ending,
Yeah.
the ending of season 1 is nuts.
Okay.
It is such, and season 2 has also been amazing so far. But yeah, obviously, you know, they're in there's ice because they're in Greenland. The boats, the Viking ships, the bows, the swords, they're at war. The king, the wheat, all that jazz. Vinland Saga, and the final one. Okay, let me just chill out. Okay, so there's a skull emoji, there's a musical note, writing, a detective, a potato or a potato chip, and fries.
I don't know what this is.
I know what this is.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
What? This is Death Note.
Holy shit.
I never watched Death Note.
I have
What?
to watch Death Note, dude.
Never
It's
watched it.
so good.
You would love it.
Yep, never seen it.
You
Dude,
okay.
Every
yeah.
like
From this
whenever Death
episode-
Note came out, everybody like every scene kid and every 90-pound wearing a 2XL shirt was watching Death Note, posting these emo messages on Facebook and all this crazy stuff, and I was like, this show is cringe, and I never watched it.
Yeah,
So
Apparently, it's very good though.
it's incredible.
Yeah, play Undertale, watch Death Note.
I've got homework.
Wait, when do you think you'll play Undertale, out of curiosity?
No, probably I've got 4 or 5 other games I have to play, and then maybe I'll play it.
Hell
If
yeah.
it's a short game, then I can probably do it really soon.
Yeah, and by the way, Chad, if you liked, or sorry, everybody
Maybe
watching,
I'll do it after this episode goes live.
yeah, that'd be sick.
You can, your first playthrough in one day, easily.
If you like that, check out Emote Only. It's happening on February 16th, 23rd, March 2nd, March 9th, 4 p.m. CST on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tech.
Thursdays, right?
Yep, Thursdays,
Yeah, there
4
you
p.m. I can't wait. My first game show, my first official game show from OTK. I'm actually stoked as hell. I hope it's good, or it'll suck. You know what my hope is? I hope the game show becomes secondary to the people who I have on the show, because that's what I want. I want the banter to be the focus, because the show is, I think it's just genuinely fun. But like, I don't care, man. I just want to get people together, make them have a good time, and hopefully that's fun for everybody watching. That's what I hope. That's what I think every game show should be, in my opinion.
I mean, I just want as content to farm people out. I've never had a game show. I've never done one.
Really?
Nope. I did transmog competitions in WoW, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Never did an actual game show. Because it would require me to talk to people. Like get guests on and stuff like that. I don't really want to deal with that.
I mean, you can just get me to get the guest.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll have to.
Yeah, if you ever want to do it, because I love doing that. I love talking to people.
Okay, great.
As long as they're not touching me. I don't want my personal space, bro.
That's part that doesn't bother me. I just don't like talking to them. Okay. well,
Yeah, we have to wrap up.
yeah,
the
we got to
episode.
wrap up. We got other stuff we got to do.
Yeah, we went like 20 minutes over.
We were late today because Emeru spent 20
Okay.
minutes in the drive-thru.
I was trapped in the drive-through, and
And then
I
she-
was behind one car. I was like, "What is happening? Like some crazy shit must be happening." I get up to the window, figure out why it took so long. The person taking orders does not speak English, and I was like,
That's the
"What
old
the
Wendy's
fuck?"
surprise.
I don't even know what I don't even know what language it was though. Is the thing like I didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
Like I thought maybe like you might think like maybe like Spanish or something 'cause
Yeah.
we're in Texas. It wasn't Spanish, so I just left.
This is the way that they do it, right? And so the way that they teach the people in these fast food restaurants, the way they teach them English is they have them work the drive-through. That's how it works.
Yeah, they're probably just pranking you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably just somebody bored. They just made some bullshit up.
Well, that's why I was late today.
Yeah.
I mean, even in terms of like the length of the episode, we went 20 minutes over because we
Dude.
just have so much to talk about.
Speaking of
I
being
don't
late-
want us to run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
Well, we won't. We
but
won't.
speaking of being late, if you don't want to be late for the next episode of Steak and Eggs Podcast, you should like, comment, and subscribe to the channel right now, and check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
We're on Spotify, right? People are asking.
Yeah, we gotta be,
There it is.
right? Yeah, we Yeah, we're probably on Spotify. Check it out for
Okay,
yourself.
good.
Yep, and
We'll be there.
there's something you can do to like pre-download episodes on Spotify and Apple Music. That helps us out a lot. And then, you know, if you like listening to it, it's ready as soon as it comes out. You can listen to it in your car or whatever. It's very good.
Oh yeah, and turn the bell on for all notifications because the subscribe button doesn't work anymore. It just puts you in your feed, but if you want to actually know more when we upload, just hit the bell for all notifications.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, watch this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate it, and we will see you all in the next one.
Goodbye.
Then you turn and you look at me. There's a little glimmer that I can see. A sparkle in your eyes. It makes me realize all we need is you and me. And I shine from your eyes. It brightens.
If only they could see me now. Not ready
I'll see what this is. I don't know what it is. Okay. I have not seen this. Says it's called Manifesting the Demon Amarath. Digital surrogates are destroying us. No, I didn't watch the Boogie video. I don't know what this is. I never watched one of this guy's videos before.
Imagine a world where every instinctual need is commodified. You're free to fulfill
This is,
any simple or
1984.
complex desire. Sympathy, control, accomplishments, they are all there. Just reach out and take it. This is an abstraction of the modern digital world. New websites and software succeed by exploiting human propensities the best. Our natural programming has plenty of weaknesses to exploit. In this presentation, I will explore the consequences of attempting to fulfill our natural desires by using digital surrogates. In Fred Wilcox's The Forbidden Planet from 1956, we are met with a father living alone with his daughter, who has never met another man. They are interrupted by 3 astronauts. Soon after, an invisible monster starts terrorizing them all. At the end of the movie...
Where's Amarath come in? Like, because we're gonna let him cook. All right, we're gonna let him cook. Let's go.
We are shown that the monster is the materialization of the father's destructive instincts against the intruders who disturbed the incestuous order with his daughter. Amaranth is a digital monster of a similar origin. She has been manifested from the aggregate subconscious of tens of thousands of young, lonely men acting as a digital surrogate of their instinctual desire to support a woman. But
Oh my god. Bro, what the fuck? Oh my god. Alright, let's see. That's a reach? It is. God damn. This guy's really, he's going all the way. Let him cook. Oh my fucking god. Where do these people come from?
as with most digital surrogates, they are a misdirection. A surrogate from the digital world attempting to fulfill an instinct from reality. The price they pay with their donations is beyond any monetary value. Sacrificing resources on attempting to fulfill an instinctual desire, yet never having it fulfilled breeds bitterness and depression like nothing else.
I think this kind of stuff would have like way more impact if it wasn't only focused around like girl streamers. Because I think that the underlying message of this is actually not 100% off, but whenever you center it around like female streamers or something like that, what you're doing is you're looking at like one slice of the, you know, digital surrogate pie. And I think that there's a much bigger side of it that's just people that are using internet personalities as a surrogate for real life interactions, which is bad.
YouTubers in general all share this type of manifested personalities, shaped in an evolutionary way through trial and error, in order to be the most appealing to their audience.
Yeah.
The YouTuber is giving up an important part of their humanity,
There he
the
is.
true personality of their being. They replace it with this ridiculously fake and over-the-top enthusiasm that's nothing like an authentic personality.
This is one thing that I remember whenever I would play a fucking game on my second stream. People would always come in and they would be like, bro, are you depressed? Are you sad? Are you okay? And I'm just talking. I'm like, yeah, so I don't know, like, I think I'm gonna get like my AC fixed, and depends on whenever they finish up, but like I might go to Wendy's afterwards, and they're like, bro, we're here for you, man. Like, whatever's wrong, you can tell us. Like, I can see you're upset. You're so sad right now. Why is Asmon so sad? Why is he so sad right now? And it's because people are too conditioned to having these like over anxious, like fucking hyperactive YouTube personalities hype them up into donating and subscribing for the next video. No, I think it's definitely distorted people's view of things.
Mass-produced formulaic persona that has to constantly appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Yep.
While being void of any contrarian opinion, that the algorithm...
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like there's a lot of these people that are very contrarian. They do things that people don't like, but then they go and apologize for it and everything like that. This is definitely true that you have like content creators that you know, they try to put an image of themselves out there that's like so vanilla and uncontroversial that they don't want to offend or upset anybody. They only say the popular thing and they only do the thing that everybody else does. Yeah, there's people, and the thing is, like, I always hate that. Like, obviously people can do whatever they want to do. And like, it's not my place to tell them what they can and can't do. But this is my personal opinion. I fucking hate that. I hate that, and I think it's so fake. And the people that do that, I always assume the reason why they're doing that is because there's something else wrong with them that they're trying to hide. Because for me, I never feel the need to do that and like try to, you know, sugarcoat things or say something positive, because what I know is not bad. I know I'm not a bad person. Well, I'm not a bad person in that way, at least. I mean, everybody puts up a facade. Like, people say, you aren't putting a facade. Everybody does, right? But you do too. Right? Well, who was it that said that, you know, every man has two faces, the face they show to the world and the face they show to themselves? Like, I'm not sure who said that. But either way, fucking the point is that everybody acts different whenever they're around other people. Batman? Yeah.
The might punish them for. They are terrified to upset their audience,
this one.
as it might cause a dent in their ad revenue. In most
To be fair, that one was, I mean, the Atrioc thing was a pretty big fuck up.
cases, the YouTuber is
was it
charismatic
3?
and attractive. They are commodifying
I
their
thought it
social
was, but
personality for countless unsociable
wanna say it wrong.
parasites. The parasitic viewer contributes nothing meaningful in this relationship. They are semi-passive observers, unable to experience what the host is experiencing.
Well, I think that you don't need to experience the same thing to have that feeling. It's like you can watch like porn and then you can still jerk off. So like in a way you're kind of experiencing the same thing. It's not the exact same, but it's like a version of that.
Escapes into the fantasy that they one day
Think
will
about
become
think
the
about that way.
host. The viewers are the parasites feasting on the extroverted
let me
energy
go
of the
back.
host. Escapes into the fantasy that they one day will become the host.
Oh, this is what I've said many times. This is why I always said that it's bad for content creators to complain about streaming. Because a lot of content creators don't realize that a lot of their viewers want to be streamers. So whenever you see somebody complaining about something that you wish that you had, it makes you resent them.
The viewers are the parasites feasting
Not
on the
everybody,
extroverted
of
energy
course.
of the host. And if you were to insult the symbiosis, you are directly interfering with the fantasy of them one day becoming the host themselves.
Oh yeah.
This is the principle of parasocial relationships at its most refined. The gondola meme is the embodiment of these concepts. Gondola gets to observe every fantasy space. But he has no arms and is destined to observe, never to interact. His fate is to sit still and become conflicted with the desire of wanting to experience, but will never have the ability to do so.
I love that. I think that's so interesting. That's cool.
A good metaphor for our new isolated online generation, observing every desire and fantasy possible through a screen that will never be fulfilled. We are able to see something similar.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think there are some people that genuinely get fulfillment out of watching content creators and developing these weird relationships with them. And they do it like for years. And it's like you go back. Bro, people did this shit with like celebrities like Michael Jackson. With like other types of like really popular, you know, like a Justin Bieber, things like that. So yeah, it's very common. It's nothing new that the internet has invented. The internet just got really good at it.
Similar to this concept in Blade Runner. At first glance, a street filled with life. Yet most humans have left for off-world colonies, and the streets are filled with surrogate humans, replicants. Only a few actual humans walk the street. It's a very lonely place. This
It's like
is a
playing
clear...
Lost Ark.
parallel to many parasocial events online, such as Twitch
Yeah.
streams. It appears as socialization is happening, yet no meaningful relationships are formed.
I would disagree with that. I actually think that there's a lot of people that develop relationships online that are incredibly fulfilling and very positive. I've done so myself, and I'm not talking about like e-dating some e-girl or something like that, but I just mean meeting people that, you know, like I would have never met in real life, and then my life being better because of that. I think I've learned a lot from that, and I think that the internet also gives people an unironic safe space to ask the questions and interact with the people that they would never have the ability to in real life. Like, you can actually go and ask somebody from Saudi Arabia. Well, actually, some of them, I think a lot of them have, like, VPN. But you can go ask somebody from, like, Germany, like, you know, are there any Nazis there anymore? Like, you could actually just go and ask some stupid fucking question like that on the internet, and you can just get a real answer. No, like, that's so good. That's incredibly good. I'm not going to say that's bad at all. I think that is an amazingly, massively good thing. That people can ask these questions in a safe space, and there's no consequence to it. They're not bad people for asking it. They just get to be, they get to know what they don't know. They get to learn about other people and other cultures in a way that's completely unfiltered.
And that is the very
I think it's so
nature
important.
of digital surrogates. They become popular by mimicking instinctual desires, but do not provide any useful output. The gaming and gambling sectors have merged, using one another's sophisticated
I like this video a lot now. Now we're talking about. I like this. This is good.
strategies to attract and profit from players. As a result, games are becoming more and more commercialized, while gambling is becoming more like a game.
Oh yeah.
In 93% of games deemed appropriate for 12-year-old players, pay to
In-game purchases. Oh, I thought this was way lower.
win loot boxes are present. The purpose of loot boxes is to sustain us via repeated cycles of anticipation, uncertainty, and feedback.
93%. Holy fuck.
Some loot boxes contain deceptive elements designed specifically to take advantage of players' psychological weaknesses and boost their desire to spend money.
Oh, absolutely.
In these techniques, highly active players are found by examining the company's player database. And after that, paid in-game material is created that is specially catered to their individual interests, such as game products that are the same color as their favorite sports team.
Oh yeah.
Loot boxes and other RNG-based mechanics in video games are surrogates for our innate motivation to continue hunting, fishing, and foraging. This is an exploitation of the object cause of desire. This is a term in psychoanalytic theory.
I do think that, like, once you use a term like this and you start applying this, like that a video game is a manipulation of somebody's desire to obtain things as their hunter-gatherer, evolutionary need, I think that once you make it so general and so broad that it loses its value because it's just so big. And like, so you can't criticize any one thing, and it just dilutes the entire argument.
Meaning the unattainable property of a desire. For example, when you wish to purchase a new product, you desire the new object.
Of course.
But once it arrives, it quickly becomes just another object. The desire exists only...
That's not true. Like, whenever I got this, I was really happy. And then I got my TV, and I was really happy. I got that TV with my first paycheck. That was like 10 years ago. What else did I get? Well, I got this desk. I bought this desk. I was really happy about this desk. I remember I bought my first computer. It was in 2014, I mean. I'm still very happy that happened. Yeah, I think that there are people, like, what he's saying is definitely true, but I think that if people are buying things as a form of what, was many times referred to as, like, retail therapy, like, oh, I'm going to buy something to make myself feel better, yeah, definitely this is fucked up and it's bad, but I think it's actually a separate problem. Because there's a lot of things that I bought, and I'm happy that I bought them, and I still am, like, years and years later.
By it being unobtainable. My next video will dive
Still happy
deep
with
into
that
the
one? Yes.
grotesque future of video games, so subscribe for that. In the Twilight Zone episode, A Nice Place to Visit, the main character, Rocky, is a small-time crook who is killed during a robbery attempt.
There it is.
He then finds himself in a strange afterlife, where he is granted every wish he desires, from beautiful women to unlimited money.
Wow.
However, as the episode progresses, Rocky becomes increasingly bored and dissatisfied with his seemingly perfect existence, eventually understanding that he is actually in hell. Rocky realized this as the desires were instantly obtainable. Digital surrogates, on the other hand, is an even...
I think that that's a problem. I actually don't think that's an internal problem, not an external problem. Like, this isn't a problem that he has all of this stuff. It's an internal problem that he doesn't have his own mind and his own life centered in a way to appreciate it. Or in a way to go out and do something. Because, like, look at Patrick Bateman. He went out and fucking killed people and did all kinds of crazy shit. He was rich as hell, too. He could still go down from the penthouse and go rob a 7-Eleven. Why can't he do that? We'll just go do it again. But the thing is, like, yeah, the problem is that I think what this reveals more, it's not that the object, like, you know, it's not like the desire and, like, working for it or anything. It's that he didn't know what he wanted. That's what it is.
worse hell, as they evolve to disguise even the struggle and journey of acquiring the desire. Only for you to realize you've wasted decades of your life on pointless achievements for the sake of the achievement itself. Recently, I've been looking at old
Well, I don't think that's a waste. I think that's a waste only whenever you think it is. Like, if you don't think it's a waste for you to go and play video games and to accomplish things in video games, then it's not a waste. Because ultimately at that level, like, self-satisfaction is the only thing that really matters. So if you do something that you're satisfied with and you enjoyed and you had fun doing it, then it mattered. But if you want to say that it had no ultimate effect, then that's just an endless fucking Russian nesting doll that leads to nihilism in the middle. Because nothing ever really matters, because entropy is going to kill everything in the universe. So what's the point of having this conversation? Now, it's in the beauty is in the eye of the beholder in this, I think.
Video game levels
You know what
I
I'm saying?
played as a teenager, except I've been doing so from game-breaking perspectives. No clipping through the walls and exploring how everything was set up. These experiments completely shatter my nostalgia. I get a dissociative view of this fantasy as if I'm observing it for the first time, and I get to see it for what it really is, a toneless combination of programming and polygons. The game is revealing to me the horror which always existed behind the pixel skin.
I think this is stage 2 of, like, I guess you would say, like, any level of enlightenment, you could say. And this is, of course, my assumption and my opinion, is that stage 1 is just being taken back and, you know, being a complete control, being a complete slave to consumerism and being able to see these things as, you know, oh, wow, this is so special. It's so cool. I'm so special for having it. I'm so special for doing it. And then, like, the second level was being able to see the man behind the machine and all of the pieces that come together and seeing how it's not as special as it used to be and it's actually not this magic thing. It was just programmed for you to win. And then I think the next stage of that is being able to appreciate it anyway. Being able to appreciate what you get out of it, because it's got nothing to do really with what the game does. It's what the game does for you and what you do in the game. Is to be able to see something that is not complete and not perfect and still acknowledge that it was special to you and it is special to you and nothing's going to ever take that away. That's what I think.
It's all lifeless data, and anything that was fascinating in the game was surrogates stimulating my biological imperatives.
Yeah.
Most video game achievements have negligible real-world applications.
Let's listen to that one again.
Most video game achievements have negligible real-world applications.
Man, bro, if I was 16, I would be downvoting the fuck out of this video. I would be so mad.
They're artificial challenges with artificial fulfillment. Yet we pursue these objectives with the same vigor and passion we would have normally used to fulfill physiological needs.
I don't really think that's true. I think that a lot of people don't have the tools to do that. And that's why you see a lot of people who, as they get older, they stop playing as many video games because they replace what the video game gave for them, that sense of pride and accomplishment in, you know, completing 16 star in a certain amount of time, or, you know, 60 star in a certain amount of time. And they've replaced that with instead having a sense of fulfillment for their job, or having a sense of fulfillment for like having a family or something like that. Because a lot of video games are used for young kids and young guys especially. Like if you're a 16-year-old guy, you're a fucking loser. You have probably no skills that anybody gives a fuck about. You're probably stupid, and it's not going to change anytime soon. And nobody takes you seriously. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And you know what? Whenever you're fucking 40, you're going to probably think, you know what? They were right. But the truth is that those guys that are 16 still want to have an environment where they can feel like they are accomplishing something. And in the world that we live in now, there aren't wars that you have to go out and fight in. There aren't these, you know, fucking eternal conflicts of battle and glory that people used to always die in. So people resort to having these fake ones like video games because it can simulate that type of feeling. I don't think that's fundamentally a bad thing, but I think any amount of any of this is always a bad thing whenever it's used to an extreme. So whenever people can only play video games and they only get that fulfillment out of video games, that's what an issue is. But what I'm saying is that as that kid gets older, as he turns 21, 24, graduates from college maybe, 22, whatever, right, gets his first big job, gets married, has a kid, gets promoted to like a serious position, he's making a 6-figure salary, a lot of times those accomplishments and that life cannibalizes the life that he previously had playing video games all the time. I have a lot of friends that have had that happen. How about you guys? You guys had that happen? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there you go. And so, like, obviously some people are not able to make that transition because, like, they're not, you know, they're not old enough, they don't have the money to do it, they're not smart enough to do it, they're too lazy, or you know, like life just dealt them a bad hand in one way or another. So the point is that I think that to say that video games are bad in this way is kind of limited, because I think that video games do provide a large value for a subset of people that don't really have as many real-world ways to get that value anymore. Like, there's not a lot of ways that a 19-year-old kid can feel like he's worth something, can really accomplish something that's his own, and not just a outcome of a school system or an outcome of his parents or something like that, but something that he owns and that is his own. And I think that's something that video games give people. And while obviously every single thing can be used for bad, I don't think this fundamentally is.
For hundreds of thousands of years, human beings have resided in tribes of about 30 to 70 people. And they saw maybe 20 young females in total during their entire lives.
Yeah.
Our minds are absolutely not updated to being bombarded with this overstimuli.
My mind is.
Our brains are wired to operate within the social context of a small community. The programming was crucial for ancient humans.
Well, this is true. I mean, everybody knows this is true, right? Because, like, have you ever had, like, a time where you're working in an office and there's, like, one girl that's your age and she's really not that attractive, but you're, you know, constantly simping for her, trying to help her do stuff or whatever? Yeah, I remember I had this happen. First job I had, too. Absolutely, because, I mean, that's what's there. Yeah, no, he's totally right about this element. For sure.
Survival. However, the tribal context of life was subverted during the Industrial Revolution, when the extended family was torn apart in order to move laborers into the cities. But a deep evolutionary need for communities continues to express itself. This is why people are so compelled to use digital surrogates in order to...
No, I don't like this. I don't like this argumentation at all, because I think that if you're going to use the Industrial Revolution and how people are able to get around with that, I think that you can't contextualize that around the digital revolution, because the idea that people should move away from their family at 18 predates the digital revolution. So I think this is just a bad argument. I don't like it. And I think, if anything, we've gone closer back to like what it was beforehand. You see what I'm saying?
Tweet, super chat, or check the news incessantly.
Wait, are people not understanding that? Yeah, he leaves like a 150, 200 years gap. I'm saying that like in the 60s, right? 70s, 80s, 90s even, before like we were living in the digital age in any capacity that we are now, the socially acceptable thing, go back, watch movies back then, was for people to move out at 18 and to go somewhere completely different, you know, go to, you know, some fucking like college, some other place. So I don't think that it's fair to distill that problem down to the digital age. Only in the West? Absolutely. Well, this person is speaking English. You know? So he's probably talking about the West. Like if I go and I watch a video of some guy speaking Chinese and all of his footage is from China, and then I'm like, well, that's not how it is in the US. Well, of course it's fucking not.
We are wired to crave connection, yet the pseudonymity and detachment of online platforms trigger emotional reactions and amplify negative behaviors, resulting in an ever more polarized society.
That's, yeah, true.
This is the exact opposite of the original function of the instinct. While online discourse can be useful for staying informed and connecting with others, it is not a good substitute for real communities, as they provide a sense of belonging, shared values, and face-to-face...
Well, I think that for some people, they don't really have the ability to have a community. And like if you contextualize this around like, let's say 2007 to 2012, where like there was a very massive like atheist movement on the internet. And the reason why there was such a massive atheist movement on the internet is because people before then had lived under pseudo-suppression of a Christian, I wouldn't say nation, but a Christian society. So before then, they weren't able to express themselves in a way that, you know, they thought was true to themselves. They weren't able to talk about the obvious questions that they weren't able to ask. And after the internet, it gave them that ability. So I think that to say that the internet only takes away is not true. And I think that, you know, again, like that massive atheist awakening for a lot of people is evidence of that. They got radicalized? No, I don't think so at all. I think that these are things that, bro, you're not radicalized if you think, hey, maybe Jonah didn't live in a fish for 3 days. That's not being radicalized. You know, COVID lockdowns without the internet? How would people have coped without the internet? Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, but I do think that's actually a very strong argument. Like, I am an internet enjoyer, and I think that I think that you cannot suppress and hold back technology and the progress of technology and the way that people interface with it just because you're afraid of what the outcomes are. I think that any time that that happened, like historically, it's always been bad, and it's been viewed as bad. Like in retrospect. Not just Christian, Puritan? Yeah, exactly. So I think that you're still seeing a large, like a large, what's the word for it? Like a backlash from that. I think that's why you see so many people that are, you know, like they have to talk about how it's okay for girls to do OnlyFans, for example, because there's such a contingency in a big group of people maybe in their real life that don't approve of them doing that. So they go on the internet and then they get that there instead. And that's a good and a bad thing, right? I mean, you have some people that are able to find like-minded people on the internet, and that like-minded group of people is just other people that like watching anime, and then you have other people that find a group of like-minded people on the internet, and that group is ISIS.
While online platforms offer shallow and faceless connections, I don't think there is any meaning inside these boxes containing digital surrogates. They are mostly dopamine hits with diminishing returns, which are fleeting and do not provide any long-lasting purpose. In most...
Then stop going after them. I think there's too many people that listen to what some fucking popular, you know, what some magazine or some TV show or some internet celebrity tells you you should go out and live your life in accordance to, if you don't think you're going to be happy with one of these things, then stop doing it. Stop trying to live your life based off of what somebody else tells you is going to make you happy. I don't know how many times growing up people would constantly tell me, this will make you happy, and then I did it and it didn't make me happy, and then they said I was doing it wrong. No, maybe I just don't like it. Maybe I'm not the same as you.
Cases, people who are deeply involved in digital surrogates are never satisfied. The influencer is constantly seeking to increase their number of followers.
Oh, yeah.
While their audience quickly moves on from one video to the next.
Very
Similarly,
true.
the speedrunners motivated to achieve ever more challenging feats. Our instincts are not updated to fit the ever-increasing amounts of biological exploits that will become more complex as technology progresses,
I think that's true.
especially artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Attempting to fulfill instinctual desires from digital surrogates lead to toneless explorations of sensual enjoyments. Abusing our biological imperatives, which are indifferent to our long-term well-being or civilization as a whole. The digital and the analog world are distinctly separate and should be treated as such.
No, they're not. The digital and the analog world are not separate at all. I think that's so silly. That doesn't make any sense. For most people, they are, I think. I don't think so at all. I think a lot of people... I think that you cannot apply the rules of the internet of 2005 to the internet of 2023. If you went and you said that in 2005, I would agree with you, and I think it was true. But the truth is that now the internet used to be an alternative life. Now the internet is an extension of your existing life. That's how it is. I think videos like this are interesting. However, I do find it to be disappointing that they focus on things like Amarath and different types of like hot button social issues to score a few points on that category, because I think that it kind of gets people's guard up, because as soon as you start doing that, you automatically alienate a large audience of people. And I think it's counterproductive. Other than that, I actually think this video was pretty good, and I wish more people talked about this stuff even though I think that this guy was probably wrong on like half of it. I can appreciate somebody talking about something and at least being willing to be wrong about a question that's complex, rather than thinking about how easy it is to answer all the questions that are simple. So yeah, I can appreciate that. There's the video right there. You know, Easy Clap got clickbaited? No, I thought that was the case. I assumed if this video was only about how Amarath was some siren luring men to their doom by having an OnlyFans, we wouldn't have watched the whole video. It would have been boring. Like, yeah, thank God for that. Things in chat, people are annoying. It's okay to disagree. Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with people saying this kind of stuff. Nothing sinister about pursuing your hobbies or interests. Problem is hardly anyone has time to do pursuits the way they want because everyone is being worked to death. What are you talking about? Like, what time do you think a farmer had in the year 1890 to pursue his pursuit of having, you know, being a pianist? Bro, we have more time now to pursue our earthly desires and the things that we want. The world is better now, right now, than we've ever had. Yeah, it is crazy. It's not even remotely close. People have so much freedom now, you can't even comprehend what it used to be like. It's insane. Yeah, it still sucks. Yeah, nothing's ever going to be perfect. People are never going to be happy with what they have because they're not happy with themselves. If you, like, I think that there's a lot of people that they focus constantly on buying the new thing, doing the new thing, you know, playing this new game. It's like, I'm going to play this new game. I see this with Ashes of Creation, for example. People
Thanks to 80,000 Hours for supporting this SciShow video. 80,000 Hours is a nonprofit that aims to help people have a positive impact with their career. You can start planning a career that helps solve the most pressing problems in the world at 80,000hours.org/scishow. So you may have heard lots of hullabaloo lately about humans going back to the moon. And there are a bunch of reasons to head up there again, from scratching humanity's itch to explore the unknown, to more practical things like mining. But from the surface of our dynamic and ever-changing planet, it might seem like those journeys will be a little bit boring. It's easy to dismiss the moon as a lifeless frozen rock. Because we can't currently go inside the moon to check on how geologically active it is, we have to rely on clues from its surface to tell us what's going on. And some of those clues tell us that the moon could very much be alive. Before we talk about the moon's reputation for being geologically dead, we need to talk about how it was born. We think the moon formed about 4.5 billion years ago, back when the young Earth hadn't quite grown to its full size. Our proto-Earth and a Mars-sized planet called Theia had a bit of an altercation. They smashed right into one another, and most of their guts ended up merging together. But this galactic car crash also threw tons of material into space, which eventually coalesced to form our moon. The baby moon would have loomed large in Earth's sky. Their mutual gravitational tugging may have caused massive tides of lava to spill over the surface. The moon would have glowed red hot from the surface down into the core, and it's been slowly cooling down ever since. But cooling isn't the same as frozen, and if there are still some liquidy bits churning around beneath the surface, we might see signs on the surface as recently solidified lava. When we look at the moon, we see a bunch of gray splotches called maria, which is Latin for seas. They're darker in color from the rest of the surface because they're made of a different kind of rock, called basalt. That's a type of frozen lava, so planetary scientists are pretty sure maria are evidence that the moon was once geologically active. But is it still? And if not, how long ago did that end? Well, it turns out dating the moon can be tricky, and scientists have two main strategies. The first is simply looking at craters. If a smaller crater is on top of another, we know that that crater has to be younger. Otherwise, it would have been destroyed when the larger meteorite hit. We can also look at the number of craters in an area. Generally, the greater the crater count, the older a patch of rock is, because space rocks have had more time to smash themselves into it. These are both forms of relative dating. Craters can't tell us the absolute age of a particular part of the moon, but we can use them to tell how old a feature is compared to another one. And most of the moon's surface appears to be billions of years old. But by counting craters, scientists have identified lava that may be a mere 18 million years old. If the moon were my age, that's like less than 2 months ago. But to confirm it's actually that young, we'd need to get our hands on actual rock samples to get a precise age. And that's where the second dating method comes in. We can cross-reference crater counts with radiometric dating to get a baseline for age estimates. Radiometric dating looks at the composition of the rocks themselves. Some isotopes, or versions of atoms, are radioactive and break down over time, and they do that breaking down at a very predictable rate. So to estimate how old a given moon rock is, scientists will compare two measurements: how much of the original isotope is left versus how much there is of the stuff it decayed into. Unfortunately, real lunar samples are a little bit hard to come by. You can't exactly just pop up there whenever you like to date whatever part of the moon you want. But the Apollo missions of the 1960s and 70s did bring back hundreds of kilos of rocks. And in 2020, China's Chang'e 5 lander performed its own sample return. The Apollo rock collection is chock full of samples that formed over 4 billion years ago. Meanwhile, Chang'e 5's basalts were dated to be as young as 2 billion years old. So just going by these limited samples, it looks like lunar volcanism went quiet a long time ago, which actually could be good news for future explorers. After all, the moon's surface is dangerous enough without having to worry about new pools of lava erupting from the ground or a volcanic eruption ruining your day. But some features call this into question. Take Ina, for example. It's a small but bright crater in a spot called the Lake of Happiness. Ina isn't like other craters. It wasn't caused by an impact. If it were, we would expect to see its floor lower than the surrounding surface. Instead, it looks more like a volcanic feature. and its rock looks more shiny and less worn down than the surrounding material, making it appear super young. Now, we've only photographed Ina from space. No mission has ever landed in it. So one team started counting its craters. And in 2006, they came back with the incredibly young estimate of 2 million years, if not younger. Now, to explain this age, they proposed what might seem like a pretty quirky hypothesis. The moon let out a giant burp of subsurface lunar gas. When the gas escaped, the rock collapsed with the sudden lack of support. But it is worth noting that not every astronomer agrees that Ina is this young. There's another gassy hypothesis out there that Ina's rocks were made out of a super foamy lava, kind of like pumice. Their texture could be hiding a lot of craters, making Ina look literally billions of years younger than it really is. Either way, 2 million years is still a long time for us humans, so Ina might not be enough evidence to say the moon isn't dead now, but we're not done yet. Even if humans have never seen an eruption, we do know that underneath its surface, the moon is rumbling. Lunar scientists have analyzed nearly a decade of moonquake recordings thanks to seismometers left up there by Apollo astronauts. But what could be causing them? There shouldn't be much heat left over from the moon's formation, but radioactive elements deep underground could be releasing enough energy to power tectonic activity. And while the moon doesn't have giant plates of crust sliding around like Earth does, there might be enough of a difference in heat between rocks deeper underground and those near the surface to allow rocks to shift positions. As the rock slowly cools, it becomes denser and sinks, while warm, less dense rock pushes its way up. And the ongoing mutual gravitational tugging between the Earth and the moon, and even the occasional space rock impact, could add to the total heat budget as well. Collectively, maybe it's warm enough for some liquid magma to be moving around down there. Upcoming missions may be able to learn more. While there probably won't be any explosive Mount St. Helens-style eruptions for our explorers to witness, the moon still has many secrets beneath its surface. We've only just begun to get a glimpse. And if you're searching for a glimpse at a new job that really makes a difference in the world, you can start with 80,000 hours. 80,000
I can't afford that.
Don't you love it when you're learning about something and things just click? Like a light switch. Clicky switches they're pretty fun. But why do switches make noise? What's the point of all that clapping? Well, it has to do with the fact that you've been lied to. But let's not get too conspiratorial just yet. First, let's look at some of the switches that don't click, because there are some. This electronically controlled dimming module turns the lights on completely silently. No clicking there. Then again, this other one that's not a dimmer makes a pronounced clicking sound. And I didn't even touch it. What gives? Well, the dimming module is using a solid-state device known as a triac to actually turn the lights on and off, so it's not quite what I mean by a switch. This standard thing goes on or off module does in fact use a type of real switch to do its work, so you hear a click. Same with this toggle light switch, this rocker switch, this rotary switch, this lamp cord switch, this power button, the rocker switches on this studio light, oh and the big one too, this toaster, the mode selector on this space heater, even its thermostat makes a distinct click. But why? Why be so clicky-clacky all the time? To start to answer this question, we first need to answer a simpler question. What is a switch? Well, a switch is a handheld game. No. A switch is a mechanism used to divert rail cars. No. A switch is the simplest mechanism that can control the flow of electricity. Say you have a simple table lamp and want to connect it up with the power grid. Well, we simply take its bare wires and carefully touch them to these live wires and voila! Let there be light. Now to turn the light off, all we need to do is carefully pull those wires apart and hope the live ones don't touch. But this is pretty dangerous. Even Edison knew that. So we designed electrical sockets which contained live wires behind an insulating barrier, and we designed plugs that would, depending on your country, somewhere between somewhat safely and completely safely, allow you to make and break electrical connections. But this isn't the most convenient way to turn something on or off, and most importantly, using them that way isn't good for your plug or your receptacle. See, if I take this lamp and plug it into this outlet, it lights up, no problem. And if I simply unplug it, it goes out, also without a problem. But watch what happens if I take this space heater and unplug it while it's running. Ooh, that was quite a spark. Let's do it again. Ooh, let's do it again. Ooh, big one. Let's do that again. Oh, let's do that again. While this specimen continues to be amused by the sparks, we'll move on to the next jump cut. When the heater is running, a lot of electricity is flowing into it through this cord. 1500 watts, in fact. To stop that flow of current, all we need to do is put an insulator between the contacts of the receptacle and the pins of the plug, which of course we can do simply by unplugging it. But when we unplug it, it doesn't just stop the current flow right away. There's a brief moment where that current manages to jump out from the outlet and the result is a spark. The same thing happens if you plug in the heater with it turned on right before the pins of the plug and receptacle first make contact, but the spark usually isn't as large as when an active connection is broken. And this is where you've been lied to. See, when you were little, you were probably taught about electrical conductors, like the wires in this cord, and electrical insulators, like the plastic insulation surrounding that wire. If you had a really nerdy teacher, you might have learned about semiconductors, but lots of us were sorting things into the two categories of insulators and conductors. The lie is that, just like most things in the real world, the electrical conductivity of any given substance exists on a spectrum. Everything conducts electricity when you try hard enough, even air. Now we rely on the resistance of air all the time. Electrical transmission lines are typically bare aluminum and are held up in the air by stacks of insulating discs. The higher the voltage of the line, the more of these discs you need because even they aren't perfect insulators. Nothing's a perfect insulator. And that's the problem. Air is pretty good, and when you unplug something from an electrical outlet, you do disconnect it from the power grid and stop the flow of electricity to it, precisely because there's air now between the pins of the plug and the conductors in the receptacle. But when you pull that plug out of the wall, there will be a brief moment when there's only a tiny bit of air between the plug and the socket. And this is not good. When those contacts are close but not quite touching, the air gap is so small that the breakdown voltage, that's the voltage at which an insulator fails to stay an insulator, is lower than the voltage of the electrical supply. This means that the current will actually jump the gap, and this creates an arc discharge. That's the spark you see here. Now on its own, this isn't particularly bad. Thanks to the fact that we use AC power, the voltage crosses the 0 point 100 or 120 times per second, so that arc will usually go out nearly immediately, though it should be noted that arcs can be sustained on AC power. More importantly, the breakdown voltage of any insulator, including air, is a function of how thick it is, so once the contacts are just a millimeter apart, that arc will generally be unsustainable. But here's the problem. That arc is hot. Very, very hot. So hot, in fact, that it can burn the ends of the plug in the socket. So we don't want to rely on pulling the plug out of the socket to stop current flow. What do we do instead? We use a switch. All the switch does is create a break in a circuit. There are many different types of switches, but they all do fundamentally the same thing. There are two electrical contacts, and they're either touching or they're not. If they touch, current can flow, and if they don't touch, current can't. But then switches do the same thing as unplugging it. Don't they have to worry about arcing? Yes, in fact, even more so. Electrical arcs damage electrical contacts in various ways, but among the most significant ones is that the contacts eventually melt away. See, each time there's an arc, that plasma is so hot that the surface of the contact briefly melts, and that material can sputter off of it. Additionally, the high temperature can cause corrosion of the contacts, and you get lovely issues like carbon buildup, which increases the electrical resistance of the contacts, and that's not good. Even better, if the arcing is bad enough and the surface of the contacts get hot enough, they can weld together and get stuck closed. I guess that light's on forever now. Since the contacts in a switch are generally pretty small, we want to minimize the arcing that can happen because, well, an arc will warm them up quickly and cause all those problems I was just going on about. And how do we do that? Why, with speed. Remember that household voltages are low enough that an arc generally can't be sustained once the contacts are just a millimeter apart. So if you get them apart quite quickly, any arc formation that does occur will be very brief and unlikely to cause significant damage. And that is why switches click. Switches are designed with mechanisms to ensure the contacts open and close very quickly enough to prevent an arc from lasting more than maybe a millisecond or so. Effectively, the contacts are meant to slam together and then get yanked apart, and that makes an audible click. The mechanisms that accomplish this are often ingeniously simple. Many times it's just a spring cleverly integrated into a pivot. Let's take a look at a simple household rocker switch. This switch is nice and clicky. Who needs a fidget clicker when you can just run to the hardware store and get one of these? This design is almost devilishly simple. Below the faceplate are 3 pieces of brass, 2 of which are the same ones you attach wires to on the outside. The smaller one holds an electrical contact, and the larger one serves as a pivot point for a small swinging piece that holds the other contact. If there's a torque applied to the swinging piece in this direction, the contact does not touch the other one, and no current can flow through the switch. But apply a torque in the other direction, and now the contacts touch. Current flows into the switch through this terminal, through the basket thing, into the swinging thing, through the 2 contacts, and out the other terminal. All it takes to ensure the swinging contact moves quickly is a spring. See, the rocker paddle that you touch is in fact the same thing moving the contact. These grooves hold on to the edge with a little play, and when the rocker rocks back and forth, so does the contact below. But thanks to the spring, the rocker, and more importantly the contact, wants to stay in either position. The spring gets increasingly compressed as the rocker meets the apex, and once it passes it, bam, the spring expands and pushes the contact in the other direction. The result is a swift action in both directions, minimizing arcing. Pretty clever. Unfortunately though, this switch design isn't perfect. In fact, many, if not most, switches on sale today aren't. See, you can actually move the contact a bit before the spring takes over. If you carefully apply pressure on the switch, you'll see that the light goes out before it clicks into the off position. Listen carefully and you can actually hear arcing going on inside the switch. This isn't really great, especially if you have a lot of lights on the circuit you're controlling. In fact, you can see on these contacts that they have been slightly damaged, and this isn't a very old switch. I know because I installed it myself. Granted, most people don't turn the lights on and off like this. If you do it like a normal person, then the contacts are swiftly moved and arcing is minimal. Still, it annoys me that it's even possible to damage the switch at all. Many switch designs, like these lamp cord switches, are simply impossible to hold in a half-on, half-off state. Sure, they're not designed to carry the current of a normal light switch, but I bet these guys rarely ever fail from bad contacts. And normal switches can be made impossible to abuse. The house I grew up in was quite old, and a few rooms had toggle light switches that you could actually move nearly completely into the opposite position before the internal mechanism opened or closed the contact with a very loud clack. Those switches were in service for 50 or 60 years, and likely still are. Granted, they were only controlling a single light in all but one case, if memory serves, so they weren't ever under much electrical stress, and they required much more force to use than modern switches, which is probably why that style went out of favor. But this paddle-style dimmer switch has a mechanism that prevents partial making and breaking of the contacts without requiring significant force. You can see that even if I use my two thumbs on both sides of the switch and very, very slowly move the paddle, the lights only go on and off with the click of the internal mechanism. This design here is what I'd call ideal, and it proves that easy-to-use switches can still be made with a fast, clicky, abuse-proof mechanism. So if you're shopping for a light switch at a hardware store, tactile feel of the switch does actually matter when it comes to switch longevity. A nice, solid snap makes me more confident than a smooth, quiet movement. This cheap toggle switch is what I'd consider awful. The toggle moves smoothly without much resistance at all, and the contact is actually broken when the switch has barely moved out of its resting position. It actually requires conscious effort to ensure the contacts are quickly moved apart, and I doubt this switch would last more than a decade on a circuit with more than a few lights. In fact, it's not even fair to say that this switch actually clicks, but more or less thuds. Any switch that's designed to interrupt even a modest current flow should, in my opinion, have a nice audible click. That plug-in thing goes on module, it's got a relay in it. Relays are electromechanical devices that control large currents with small currents. Essentially, they're a switch with some sort of external control. In this case, the small computer inside here will turn on the relay when it's been asked to, and click, the light goes on. The contacts in a relay are closed via an electromagnet and are held open with a spring. And as luck would have it, this simple arrangement means the switch opens and closes quickly, and so it clicks. Fun fact, when we need to automatically control very high current loads, we use what are essentially large relays, but we call them contactors. Contactors often just use air to break the circuit like any other switch, but when we get into high voltage applications, the contactor might be contained in a vacuum. And in really high voltage applications, like in power grid substations, you might find switches and circuit breakers inside a volume of sulfur hexafluoride, which is an incredibly good insulator, and this is in fact the primary commercial use of SF6. Now, not all switches need to click. Switches that don't carry a lot of current, like the clicky buttons on your mouse, don't need to click at all because there's not going to be any arcing going on in there. They click mainly because that style of switch is designed to provide a lot of tactile feedback. And actually, a very clicky switch can be a disadvantage in digital devices because now you might need to implement some sort of debouncing, but that's beyond the scope of this video. So, now you know why switches click. They're really just prolonging their life. And if you want to prolong the life of the switches in your life even more, be sure you always give them a good flick, or poke. Since many modern designs kind of make you a part of the contact closing and opening action, you can and should click to your heart's content. Thanks for watching, and thank you to the fine folks supporting the channel through Patreon. I really do appreciate your support. If you're interested in joining these people and supporting the channel, you can check out the link at the end screen or in the description. Thanks for your consideration, and I'll see you next time. Nope. I messed up. I thought this would go quickly. It's not going quickly. So if you get them apart quickly, that was going well, but then it wasn't. Wrong pronunciation. No, that's the wrong way. Now, I don't like how I did that either. Well, that might have been... never mind.
I don't feel safe. Ohio's train derailed. I did not know there was a place called Palestine in Ohio. And for the first day of this controversy and this thing happening, I was like, well, how the fuck did that? Like, how did they? Why are we covering this so much? I mean, it's a cloud all the way over there. Like, it's all. What are we doing?
Tell everybody they're safe. I think our citizens are safe. I think my drinking water is safe.
Yeah, for sure it is. That's right.
We're at the town hall meeting here in East Palestine where hundreds, if not thousands of residents have gathered to ask their questions. They've basically forced the mayor into having this targeted town hall.
Many people outside of 1 mile radius are being affected by this and not getting help because we're not in 1 mile radius.
It's been almost 2 weeks.
Wouldn't that suck? Is like you finally get to be mayor of like some bumfuck town in Ohio. So really you just get to go around patting yourself on the back and everybody knows about you. And then like just out of nowhere, there's like a national fucking biohazard disaster and you have to do your job and everybody fucking hates you. That would suck, man.
Since a freight train derailed in this small Ohio town,
Yeah.
spilling hazardous chemicals and igniting a fire that burned for days. This is the first time officials are directly addressing residents about what happened. Norfolk Southern, the company that owns the train, was supposed to be here too, but at the last minute, they bailed.
There was reports that they were scared for their safety before they got here. There's police everywhere. Why
The train derailed on February 3rd at 8:54 p.m.
This seems like a really big fuck up. Everybody always thought that this was some kind of like fucking massive conspiracy and it was like some weird Area 51 government thing. Nah, I just think they were trying to save money and they fucked up. Like somehow at the very bottom of this, I bet it's a cost-cutting measure that caused this to happen. Yeah, they're just trying to save money.
20 cars of hazardous materials,
Uh-huh.
including vinyl chloride, a highly flammable toxic gas that causes central nervous system problems and has been linked to a host of cancers.
Get the fuck out of there!
In the days after the accident,
Holy
Norfolk
shit!
Southern worried the vinyl chloride could explode, so they did a controlled burn, potentially releasing phosgene, a gas used as a chemical warfare agent in World War I.
What the fuck?
Videos soon spread widely from residents who were afraid and unsure of what they'd been exposed to.
Yeah.
Still smells like a chlorine.
Bro, if that was me, I would just turn around and drive. I would just be like, look, I'm going to be back in like a month. I'm going to get my PC. I'm going to get one extra shirt. And I'll be back in a month. That's all I need. Now I'll see you guys then.
Leaves like a bad taste in your throat.
Oh.
Many reported rashes, sore throats, nausea, headaches, and respiratory problems, as well as seeing sick animals and water covered in a chemical
Alex
sheen.
Jones is not going to like that one.
That's safe.
Yeah, so like if you look at that, how could it not be safe? There's literally rainbows in the water. What's more beautiful than a rainbow? Think about it, right? Yeah, I mean, that's the most natural thing you could have. That's a shitty house. It's better than my house.
in here. Oh my god. I noticed the smell right away. I can smell a cleaner smell.
Zhuzha Jenes lived less than a mile from the derailment.
All right.
This is the first time she's been back home to let independent contractors hired by Norfolk Southern test the air for any harmful chemicals still.
Bro, I'm gonna be real. Like, I would never go in this place without a fucking mask on. Like, I don't give a fuck what the machine says. You see that big ass fucking cloud? What you think happened? Yeah, I would be done. I would be gone for, as I said, a month.
Lingering. The company has been working with the EPA to run these tests and has cleared over 550 homes in the area.
Well, it smells like a chemical concoction in here. I'm literally dizzy.
Well, I mean, like, how are they, like, what, how are y'all, what the fuck are y'all doing? Get the fuck out of there. What do you, like, bro, it smells so bad. There's chemicals everywhere. I'm dizzy. Like, get the fuck out.
Okay.
Company probably, yeah, probably the company that hires these guys. Probably like, it's probably a government company that hired these people, right? Like through like some private thing. And like the guy whose company that they hired, like his cousin is the guy that worked at the government and coincidentally was the one who suggested that company. And to save money, that company didn't get extra suits and masks for the employees because it would cost $11 extra, and they have 300 employees, so it would be like $3,000, and that's like so much money. And so like they just figured, you know what, like, hey, yo, fuck it, like it should be fine, right? Because like the machine says so.
Oh, I would not come back in here.
Get the fuck out.
Not like this.
Oh.
This is gonna be your copy. We had non-detections of VOC throughout the whole house.
What would you attribute that smell to? Because I know damn well that was not a normal smell that we have in our house.
A chemical burn that probably is going to give you cancer in 5 years, but you know, that's a surprise for later. I'll talk to you later, ma'am. All right, we got work to do.
Smell is, I'm not sure exactly what it could
Yeah.
be. A lot of homes are different.
I mean, every
Even
house
though
is
her
different.
home was deemed safe,
Look,
Jenna's plans to keep staying at a hotel
Hey.
20 miles outside of town, where she brought her
that cat is gonna have a baby, and it's gonna have 6 legs.
9-year-old son Maddox after the night of the accident.
About
And
3
one
in
ear.
the morning, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I started smelling something. I
Uh-huh.
started getting a pretty bad headache. I started getting
bet.
really dizzy.
Yep.
I felt nauseous. My eyes were burning. My nose was burning. My throat was burning.
Yeah.
Not even 5 to 10 minutes later, I heard something. I heard a sound, and I said, I think that was Maddox. So when I walked in there, he was shaking really bad, like violently shaking, kind of tremors, like not just a little bit. It was like
Uh-huh.
bad, and he was projectile vomiting across the floor. And he was saying, I
What-
need water, I can't breathe. And then his eyes looked like he didn't know what was going on. He looked so scared. And I
Yeah.
said, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
What kind of answers are you hoping to hear?
So that's like her kid? Oh, is a cat? Wait, I'm so confused. Because it's the kid. Because I don't think a cat has ever talked to me. Yeah, I was about to say, that's a kid. Holy fuck.
What kind of information do you feel like you need?
Hey, yo, boys, isn't it going to be great whenever our tax money goes towards the settlements that these people are going to get for from the government? That's going to be super awesome that we have to pay more money to these people because the government tried to save money. That's so cool. Wow. Good job, guys. Yeah, we're going to have to pay for this shit.
Just like to see
So
a lot more
stupid.
transparency with just local and state governments.
Yeah,
directing
I bet that's
people,
gonna happen.
Giving us assistance. Right now they're saying, oh, our team said they didn't test anything in the air. Well, let's talk about the soil. Let's talk about this residue. Why are people getting sick if it's fucking safe? Why are they getting sick?
Exactly.
You don't believe it?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I definitely don't trust Norfolk or the team that they hired. I don't think they should have been given the ability to hold the reins on the narrative.
No, the odds are what they did is they knew what the chemical was, and they could have used. I don't know. This is kind of a pretty big, like, I can't be sure, but like, here's the thing: is if your machine isn't picking anything up, but people are projectile vomiting, and everybody's getting a headache and they're sick, maybe you should recalibrate the machine. Maybe you should use a different machine. Because if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say that the reason why they're using those machines is intentional because those machines are not made to pick up what they believe it actually could be. You know? They're checking
James
for ghosts, not
Baczak,
poison?
a toxicologist who studies chemical exposures, says residents are right to remain skeptical. Some of these residents are being told, it's safe to come back, we've tested your air, and you should have no concerns, you can come back in. Some of them are distrustful of that information.
Right. That's an obvious distrust. We don't really know what chemicals are left in the ground that may migrate over time to eventually contaminate a person's well.
Well, of course that would happen, right? I mean, it's not like you just get rid of it. I mean, where do you think it goes?
A child playing in that vicinity on that ground. So if we don't know what the chemical is that we should be concerned about, then it's very hard to predict what the sort of long-term effects might be.
Would you move back if you were in one of these homes and you were told it was safe?
Would you go back?
That would depend. If I had a young child.
That's a good question.
Or if my wife was pregnant. That might put another level of what I'm going to do about this. But by the same token, I need to also consider what my resources are. I mean, can I really afford?
True. I mean, you can't afford to go anywhere else, so you're just going to die. That's just the way it is. Hey, look. That's the way it goes. Look. There's winners, there's losers.
To spend a week or two more in a hotel and not be in my home. Maybe I work in that town. Do I really have the opportunity to leave my job?
True.
Do I have another place or not have another place to stay?
These are bad choices, though.
They are bad choices. I mean, or at least they're not choices that people would like to be able to make, right? 5 rail cars of vinyl chloride is significant, and how much vinyl chloride is left in the ground there? That's the big question. That would be a question that if I was living there, I would want to know.
I'm sure they'll tell you.
That answer could be a long time coming.
Just one quick question. We're just gonna run in and get
2 weeks after the derailment, the first
we gotta
cabinet
go.
member finally arrived in East Palestine, alongside state and local officials, in an attempt to reassure residents.
For those areas that we have deemed safe, we believe that because the science and the data
This is an EPA administrator.
proves that. But that is not to discount any experience that any resident is having.
Is there a plan for long-term testing for people who are worried that they might not be having health effects right now, but something might show up in 5-10 years? Is there a plan to continue monitoring this area?
So there's 2 phases. This is the emergency phase. We are, as we speak, working on the long-term remediation plan. That will include a sampling plan for surface water, for drinking water, for air, all of the things that you're talking about, and for soil.
I wish somebody would just ask them, so how's it safe if people are throwing up? How's that happen? Hold up, wait a second. I mean, come on.
The wreck in East Palestine was just one of more than 1,000 derailments that happen every year.
Jesus.
Less of an accident than a tragic inevitability. Workers say there's a direct line from these incidents to the aggressive ways railroads have slashed costs, largely through a method.
Wow, boys, who could have ever predicted that? What a fucking surprise. Damn. Who could have guessed?
Known as precision scheduled railroading. PSR is supposed to be about maximizing efficiency by reducing how much time trains spend sitting in the rail yard. But in practice, railroad employees have told Vice News it's led to longer trains, fewer inspections, and smaller, more overworked crews. Norfolk Southern, which made a record $3 billion in profit last year, implemented PSR in 2019. It also successfully lobbied against new safety procedures for certain trains carrying hazardous materials.
So, wait a second, what did it say?
Lobbied against
the rail companies block the safety rules? Oh my god. That's so fucking funny and stupid. Before the derailment, Norfolk Southern lobbied against safety rules. Well, how about that? Wow, what goes around comes around. Weren't these people gonna gather money for something? I don't know. There's a movie about this exact incident. This town 2 years ago is nuts. Democracy at work. The sad thing is that people are so fucking stupid, they're probably gonna re-vote for whatever guy took the money. Can y'all believe that? They're just gonna vote for him again. They're gonna see me. Oh well, I mean, you know.
Certain trains carrying hazardous materials.
Oh my god.
Scott Wilcox was a locomotive engineer for Norfolk Southern for 18 years before he retired in July.
The railroad's a tough place to work to start with. It's demanding. You're on call 24/7, 365.
Fuck that.
It seemed like the last several years that things got worse. It all had to do with this precision scheduled railroading that they came up with a few years ago, cutting jobs, cutting costs.
Isn't it funny how, it doesn't matter who it is that talks about their job, they're all saying the same thing? It's like, it doesn't matter if it's a railroad, game development, Walmart, McDonald's, or some fucking accounting firm. It's all the same. Or some software development company. Massive protests starting to rise in Turkey due to discovered proof of HAARP causing earthquakes. Oh, wow. I'm sure that's going to amount to something. The thing is, the problem is, people have such short attention spans, and most people can't really understand the nuances of things. So Politicians can control them with like really, really simple things like gay people bad, or fucking like let me think, are they gonna take your guns, or you not gonna have guns? Let me see, let's see some other good ones that they go with. Some, like, yeah, birds aren't real. Yeah, abortion. Oh, well, now we're not gonna let people kill the babies, or oh, we're gonna stop people from killing the babies. We gotta do that. Meanwhile, they're taking a bunch of fucking money and they're killing adults and babies. But people can't think about that because it's too abstract. There's like too many points of removal. Is that a word? Probably not. Of removal. And they're like, wait, I can't keep up with this. We're gonna wipe your student loans. Psych?
Doing everything they can
It's
to
funny.
save a dollar.
How did you feel like it changed the environment?
People are
It
so
made
stupid.
it a lot more
It's,
stressful.
it's not even funny. It's funny
Hostile
and sad.
economies. The railroad, probably 100 years ago, came up with safety first. When precision scheduled
Oh, they
railroading
came up with that.
out, they gave us a list of priorities that we were to work by. Safety's 4.
What came ahead of safety?
The almighty buck. Efficiency. Not delaying
Wow,
trains
what?
to do things that should have been done.
Who coulda
With the
guessed?
cuts in staffing, there's fewer car inspectors. It used to be the car inspectors would have
It's
5
like, don't worry about those car inspections. Did you see this one black person that committed a crime? Yeah, we've got to have more police now. Yeah, there was a black person that robbed a 7-Eleven, so the police station needs a tank. Oh, God. Yeah, let's solve this problem right away.
to 8 minutes to inspect a car.
Oh my
now
God.
they're down to something like 30 seconds a car.
From 5 to 8 minutes to 30 seconds?
And if they're taking too long, they hear about it.
So the company was prioritizing profits.
One of my uncles used to do truck driving. I don't know if he still does it or not. I'm not sure. But like he said the same fucking thing. He said he used to be able to just stop off and just chill out and get some food on the way over to a drive. But like now, they have like a GPS on his ass, and so like the second that like he goes off the the fucking Google Maps and he's like over at fucking Taco Cabana or like Wendy's or something like that, he's getting a phone call. They're like, so did Wendy's need that shipment, or did the other company that paid for the stuff, did they need that shipment? So like, what's up with Wendy's? Why are you at Wendy's for? Like, yeah, it's like, that's so it's so bad. They go by strike
Over
systems too.
safety
Yeah.
Yes.
In your experience?
Yes. If we're gonna get a handle on situations like this in East Palestine, safety's got to be first.
It's really hitting you
Yeah.
hard.
I'm a safety guy.
Well, it must suck, right? Like you invest 20 years into an industry, and at the very end of your career, because like he worked 20 years, this dude, like, I don't know, about his health situation, right? But like, this is not a guy who's probably too old to work, but he's probably too old to deal with that bullshit. Definitely. There's a lot of people like that they probably could still work, and they're like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. This is fucked up.
So, yeah, it does hit me hard. Take steps to start doing things in a safe manner that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And quit worrying about the damn money.
It's got nothing to do with these companies, by the way. Like, these companies are going to always try to save money as much as they fucking can. The problem is the government. It's the fucking government. That's the issue. The government is taking bribes from these fucking companies, and they're cutting costs and letting them walk all over them. It's both, yeah, but the difference is that we don't have any power over some fucking railroad company. We don't get to go vote and say, this is what the rules for the railroad is going to be for this company. This is not the employee system. We can't really do that. but we do have for the government. It's not that it's not their fault, it's that they're the only ones that are really accountable. Can't
Norfolk
nationalize them?
Southern
No,
told
you
Vice
can't. You
News
regulate
it's
it.
invested hundreds of millions of dollars in new technology to improve rail safety. The company also said it was, quote, committed to doing what's right for the residents of East Palestine and has contributed more than $6 million to the community in response to this disaster. On Tuesday, the Biden administration announced Norfolk Southern would be responsible for the entire cost of the cleanup.
Good.
A process that could take months.
Fuck them.
Time and money are tight, but I don't feel safe to go back. I don't even know where to go.
You won't go back to that house.
I would never sleep at night knowing that it could be worse because I made it worse because I brought him back there.
Yeah.
I want him to have a normal life. I don't want to keep being involved of like wondering, is it safe to stand in this rain right now? Can I let him splash in that puddle? Like, I don't want to have to be questioning everything.
A rainbow
every day.
puddle. Yeah, that's some Chernobyl shit.
I'm Michael Learmonth, editor-in-chief of Vice News. Too often, traditional news outlets shy away from the real stories and experiences of those living through global conflicts. Not Vice News. Our reporters are on the ground, fearlessly covering the human stories that shape our world. You and millions of others can continue to read, watch, and listen to Vice News for free. But we hope you'll consider making a one-time or ongoing contribution of any size at vice.com/contribute. Every contribution, no matter how big or small, helps support the journalism Vice News brings to you every day. Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, shit. Suicide Squad is a game, and it's coming out. It's a single-player game. But guess what? You have to be connected to the internet to play it. Isn't that so cool?
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Man, talk about a game with an amazing concept, but whose execution I have doubts about because of the live service components that are going into it. The folks at Rocksteady recently...
I feel like a lot of games force live service now. They force live service so they can necessitate a battle pass and continuous payments of the game. I actually am a big fan of live service games. I am a live service game enjoyer. Most games I play are live services, and I appreciate that very much. However, there are other games that are not live services, and I can appreciate them as well.
Showcased the game during the latest State of PlayStation, and you can see right here the likes to dislikes ratio on the State of Play as a whole is already not looking great. But then you look at videos specifically highlighting Suicide Squad, and you'll find that the likes to dislikes ratio is even worse. Here's PlayStation's official upload of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League official co-op.
And you've got to keep in mind also the dislike ratio would be even higher if it was made public. Because people are just, bro, people are herd animals. If they see bad, oh, bro, everybody dislikes this, yeah, I don't like it either.
Gameplay, it's 6 minutes long that just purely shows gameplay.
Yeah.
You can see right here 5.9 thousand likes versus a whopping 19,000 dislikes.
Which is fucking insane, by the way. Look at this right here. Give me 1 second. You have 200,000 views. That is like every 1 in 10 people that watched this video downvoted it. That's so bad. Bro, that's awful.
And scrolling down, you can see some of the feedback that people
not that
have
bad,
been
really?
sharing.
Yes,
including,
it is.
Yes, Captain Boomerang and a signature weapon, shotgun, referring to the fact that a lot of the gameplay in this game just seems to be third-person shooting, while the different characters do have melee attacks and special abilities and whatnot. And while there is a lot of verticality with how large the levels look and how you can traverse aerially either by swinging or flying around, the core gameplay of each character ultimately feels like it's just shooting, and like that's the majority of what you'll be doing, which is a bit disappointing and makes...
That type of like aerial gameplay was kind of good, but there's nothing here that makes me think to myself, man, I can't wait till this comes out.
each hero less unique, stand out less. It's a stark contrast from Rocksteady's previous Arkham series games, where the entirety of those games' combat revolved around making you feel like Batman. His entire kit felt Batman appropriate. Whereas in Suicide Squad, it just feels like at its core, it's kind of like a generic third-person looter shooter with superhero elements attached to it, rather than a purely superhero game where you really feel like those characters. Again, I haven't played the game. I'll hold out.
I think that like a lot of the Suicide Squad characters, like they're not superheroes in the same way that like Superman is, but I mean like Batman's a superhero and he's just a human. So it's like if you can make it work for Batman, you should be able to make it work for Harley Quinn or Deadshot or anybody else.
Judgment, but you know what they showed us, I don't know, it was just not jiving with me. And I don't know if it was just me, but looking at the gameplay, there were aspects of it that looked janky, the animation transitions and whatnot. There was just something about it that felt very looter shootery. When you look at multiplayer games, you can...
I think this game, you know what the word is that I would have for this game? Safe. I think this is a safe game that will generate a profit of 23%, that they will then add updates for in the future to make shareholders happy. Yeah, it is a safe game that follows all of the same principles, does all of the same things that all of the other games do, and there's nothing innovative, at least that I can see, about it.
Tell that there has to be a sacrifice in fidelity to accommodate the technical aspects of multiplayer, whereas in a single-player experience, because it's an isolated instance, you can really push the graphics and animation fidelity.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of that gets lost in Suicide Squad because it is primarily a multiplayer experience. You can play single player with bots, but it feels very much like it is a live service, a la Marvel's Avengers.
I mean, like, if they have it, if the game is mostly a online game, like, I can see why they'd want it to be always online. But I don't know why they can't have it to where, like, you can make a character that doesn't play online. I don't see why you can't do that. Because, like, if you're worried about people hacking, which is, like, obviously what the issue is, that's why you want to have a game always be online, so you can, like, watch out for hacks. If that's an issue, why not let people make characters that are offline characters? There's no reason.
I do think it looks better than Marvel's Avengers, though that's not saying much. But it's got those vibes of, oh, I'm going to be
and they can't
grinding a
monetize
lot.
you. Yeah,
it is gonna...
and that's probably what it is. Like, if they want it to always be online, how much do you guys want to bet every single time you boot up this game, you're going to be bombarded with all of the new Battle Pass stuff?
Try to draw out the experience as much as possible. It's not going to be this very meticulously designed and properly paced experience. I don't know, that's just the feeling I get. Again, haven't played the game. We'll have to hold out, but that's the general worry that people have. I do like the cutscenes that I've seen so far. Maybe it'll have a good enough story to carry the experience through. The fact that the game has been designed with a live service co-op experience in mind means that playing it solo, I get the sense that the overall...
I don't really think the Suicide Squad is particularly interesting, because I think that they're edgy, but they're mainstream commercial edgy. So they're actually kind of cringy and extremely narrow in what they can be edgy about. I think it's like so commercialized. Like, for example, like, you know what my version of the Suicide Squad is? The Watchmen. That's a fucking edgy group of comic book heroes. This is just to sell fucking comic books, or not, sorry, not comic books, action figures and movie tickets and games.
Level design, game design, set piece design, and whatnot will be held back. That the campaign won't feel like it has that level of handcraftedness that single-player focused experiences do. The kind of handcraftedness you see in something like God of War or, hell, the old Arkham titles. Here's another comment that reads, Battle Pass, check. Looter shooter mechanics, check. Gear score, check. Damage numbers, check. Builds, check. Mindless hack and slash.
You have gear score? Are we playing Wrath of the Lich King again? Like, what is this? Single player gear score? Like, what happened? Dude, I was watching Esfand play, fucking, what was the game? Metroid Prime. They updated Metroid Prime. I'm gonna play that, by the way. I saw him playing it, and It was so good. I was watching play. I'm like, this is such a good game. It's amazing. Why do we have this? What is this?
Check. Well done,
Drives me
Rocksteady. Everything the
crazy.
game community just loves about AAA live service titles. Some people are
Yeah.
hoping that at least this game has more enemy
And
variety.
again, I feel like this is, again, too big to succeed. Because you have to bet that if this is a AAA title, the AAA title where they're using the likeness of A-list actors in the game, to an extent at least, and also the IP of DC Comics, there are millions of dollars going into this game. Like millions and millions and millions of dollars going into this game. And guess what? They're not going to let it fail. So instead of going with something that's a little bit more risky, they go with something that is safe, that checks all the boxes, that their focus groups of, you know, people that play Candy Crush, that's their favorite game, is they play Candy Crush. Their focus groups tell them are the good things for video games. Only indies have integrity anymore? Not always true. You have things like Elden Ring, and I think that Nintendo puts out pretty good games every once in a while too. And I don't think it's only indies, but I think that many AAA games, I think that we are getting to a point where more often than not, a AAA game will be too safe to be interesting.
Than Marvel's Avengers. Man, I just hope it's not like Avengers where you're killing the same Brainiac bots over and over again.
Oh, I wonder.
And then some are expressing disappointment that given Rocksteady's pedigree that this is what we're getting out of him 8 years after the last title. We had to wait 8 years for another Rocksteady game and we got this. And the list just goes on and on. These are generally the types of comments that you'll see scrolling down. Just the general...
Let's see. Sonic just reading the guns are like little toys. There's already a huge problem in this game. You have to pay $70. It was said to come with the battle pass. After seeing the gameplay, I'm glad to say I have zero regrets for skipping this. $70. That's the thing, man. Is like, how can you, like, and again, inflation is a bitch. And I understand that it costs a lot of money to make a game. And you've got to charge $70 sometimes if you want to make that money back. But the reality is that not everybody has to do that. Vampire Survivors didn't have to do that. And guess what? Many other games that came out a year or two ago don't have to do that either, because now they're being sold for less. So I completely understand, and I think it's fair for them to price it at $70, but I think that it is equally fair for people to say the value proposition that you are asking me to engage in for $70, fuck you, I can get it for $3.
expression of...
Or, fuck you, I can get it for free.
Disappointment and concern that this is not the kind of game that people will want out of a Suicide Squad AAA video game, much like how Marvel's Avengers wasn't the type of experience that people were hoping for out of an Avengers AAA game. And looking at other Suicide Squad uploads...
It's like, I also want to draw attention to the Marvel Avengers game, because there are people who say that if streamers all play a game, that it's going to blow the game up. Every single streamer got a sponsor to play the Marvel Avengers game. I don't know why I didn't. What the fuck? By the way, like, they should have paid me to play that fucking game. I've watched all the movies. Anyway, so I was getting mad about that. I'm trying to remember, where was I at? Right. All these streamers played this game. And guess what? The game died. Streamers cannot make a bad game good. They can only make a good game more popular.
Can see that the likes to dislikes ratio is similar. This video that I showed you right here is just the gameplay segment, but there is a second video that was uploaded to the official PlayStation channel. Developers commenting over gameplay and kind of highlighting the features you can expect out of it. The dev commentary footage YouTube upload you can see right here has 1.5 thousand likes versus a whopping 5.9 thousand dislikes. Scrolling through the comments here, you can see that people are expressing a similar level of disappointment based on what they saw in the showcase and based on the fact that it was confirmed in the showcase that this game would be heavily leaning into live service models. Reception doesn't fare better in other outlets' uploads. Like IGN here uploaded the extended gameplay of Suicide Squad. You can see right here, 5.9.
A lot of people have been saying the same thing. Like, I saw Mudahar tweeted about it. And, like, the thing is, like, I thought this died whenever PlayStation 4 shit on Xbox for trying to push this for their whole system. Please, if you are making a video game, if your video game has a single player option, there is no value that is added to the buyer of your video game that you make them stay online. And you might think that it's not a big deal. And you know what? It's probably not a big deal. So if it's not a big deal, why do you make them do it? If you're that worried about hacking, just make it to where you can make characters that can't go online. It's so easy.
1,000 likes versus 7.4 thousand dislikes. Here's another IGN upload, the game overview trailer with the dev commentary. 6.2 thousand likes versus 10,000 dislikes. This is GameSpot's upload of the co-op gameplay trailer. 3.3 thousand likes versus 6.7 thousand dislikes. So on and so
That's
forth.
really
you get the
bad.
idea. And the main culprit behind the negative reception is this portion of the showcase where the developers kind of talk about the live service elements and show UI that very much resemble what you'd see in a
Every
live
other
service. So let me show this to you guys, and yeah, it's
I
not
haven't seen this
something
yet.
that
I
I'm
didn't watch State of
particularly
Play.
enthused about. So here we go.
Each character has a power level in the game called gear score. As you
That's so crazy. So they have this new idea of having a power level and calling it gear score. Holy fuck, I wish I had watched this live. Oh my god. Can you believe that?
acquire new gear in the game, your gear score goes up. And as that number goes
makes
up,
sense.
it means that you can take on much harder missions. As part of this progression,
Gear with different rarities.
more and more builds, more and more ways to customize your character to really fit the way you want to play.
Every firearm in our game
Just a
is
bunch of stuff to
upgradable.
be looting.
So in Suicide
This happened to me all the time. This is again a second audio layer because he's watching this too. Yeah, it happens. Okay, guys.
particular
And then
that
shooting.
you can get lots of choice to use the weapons that you need and to complete your missions, but most importantly, you will be able to customize your squad.
A lot of cosmetics that no doubt the lock behind Mike.
Oh yeah, cosmetics. What a surprise. I wonder if
You will be able to customize your squad.
I feel like this is at least $19.99 in the shop with a timer that says 3 days and 12 hours left right underneath it. I feel like this is easily $19.99. Yeah, $50, something like that.
A lot of cosmetics that no doubt the lock behind microtransactions, battle pass.
The outfits you can be running around in your asylum jail outfit.
Not
and
stuff you
still
can
have, like, the
unlock
vest
purely through
for-
gameplay.
Our game makes a 1 to 4 player co-op experience, which means that all the missions in the game have been assigned with solo play, playing with a friend, 2 friends, or 3 friends.
That's cool.
For the single player fans, you can play
So
as a
Marvel's
single player
Avengers-esque.
without filling in the role of the squad.
So hopefully with better design levels
You
and
can switch them if you want.
missions
Like King Shark,
and activities.
Or you can say, well, I think Harley will
And
be a better
gameplay.
Bro, how are you a shark and you don't bite people? Like, I mean, that's what sharks do. It doesn't make any sense.
For this mission, I'm going to switch over and I'm going to try her out. But if you really want to tear it up, going in with a full group
The
of
ding, 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 ding right there.
experience the full mayhem. The
It just felt like such a looter
You get to
shooter
really
thing.
experience the dynamics between how you can all play together in
Collecting
different play styles.
all the stuff
in
that
order
enemies
to
drop.
take on Brainiac and the Justice League.
All the fun is right here.
There's a smoothness to the gameplay that's
God, I cannot believe, like, why is it that every single time they have Harley Quinn, it just is so cringe? Like, sometimes the reason why I think it happens is that they're afraid of making her actually fucking psycho. And that's what they should do. But the thing is, making her actually fucking psycho would be, you know, kind of politically incorrect, and it would be risky, and so they don't do that.
Seems cool, but
Like, remember, like, that one girl in Final Fantasy, that, like, that Yositsu, I think that was her name, and she fucking stomps on this guy's head. She steps on him, and she was just a massive fucking bitch. She was awful.
Rocksteady will continue its legacy.
I still
of
remember
supporting the
her.
game after its launch.
We're going to deliver lots of new content to our players. We're going to have new playable characters,
That's why
new
she's great,
weapons,
yes.
and new missions. For players who like to customize their looks, we'll offer a battle pass that only contains cosmetic
There it
items.
is.
There's just going to be so much for the players to enjoy.
Will include a battle pass that only contains cosmetic purchases. I don't think that's a big deal, but like if the battle pass only contains cosmetic purchases, then what is the difference between a battle pass and achievements in the game? It doesn't make sense.
They're literally just describing a live service without saying the word
If you
live
like
service
story
because
games,
they know the
if you
stigma
like
that it
RPG elements,
carries.
If you like co-op games, if you like customizing your characters, if you
A
want to
stigma
play
that's
as a
reasonable
badass,
given
this game kind of has it all.
It's very fast-paced. It's really
what live
colourful,
services
It's loud
have
and
become and
unapologetic and in your face, and it's going to be really, really fun.
the negative aspects to live services that have seeped into gaming. So yeah, that's the
Yeah, I don't think live services are fundamentally bad. I think that the way that AAA studios monetize live services have given them a bad reputation. Because a live service game like Fortnite, for example, is incredible. A live service game like Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft, incredible. A live service game like Valorant, absolutely incredible. Live service games are not bad, but I think what people are tired of is whenever a live service game, live service features are forced into the game.
Segment that made people go, ugh. On top of the fact that the gameplay just looks more generic looter shooter than the Arkham series, which had such a unique identity in both visuals and gameplay because it was specifically built to be a single player, isolated Batman experience. This is all just literally giving off the same vibes that Marvel's Avengers did. It does look better than Marvel's Avengers again, but it's never a good thing to get any sort of vibe that's related to Marvel's Avengers. This is just not the direction I was expecting this game to go. This is just not what a lot of people wanted out of a Rocksteady game. And the best we can hope for is that when we do get our hands on it, it pleasantly surprises us. In the meantime, though, we have to just contend with the fact that this is a live service, and this is a game that, despite allowing you to play...
I think this is what the issue is. It's not even the fact that it's a live service game. The issue is that you have to be online for it, and also, none of that gameplay seemed... Nothing about what I've seen with this game excites me. There's never a time where I'm gonna think, hey guys, I want to go out of my way. There are 100 other games out there, and I want to play this one.
A solo with bots will require an internet connection even if you're playing single player. This is something that was relayed by Rocksteady itself in their FAQ page. Here's a screenshot from Wario64. Zooming into the image, you can see that there's a segment that reads, is an internet connection required to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? The response reads, yes, an internet connection is required to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League solo or via online co-op. And if you're getting a sense of deja vu out of that, it's because I recently covered Redfall and how that game also has the exact same restriction that was also disclosed on the game's official page's FAQ. It's also worth noting that last month on January 2023, there was a Suicide Squad leak that was first posted to 4chan before it spread to other social media platforms and forums and news outlets, revealing Warzone-like UI, Battle Pass menu.
Well, I think the Warzone UI is fine. Like, I'm not going to complain about the UI being like other successful shooter games. That's totally okay.
And more. I'm not going to show that screenshot here because Warner Brothers is going on a copyright takedown spree.
Yeah.
But there's a screenshot that was verified by Video Games Chronicle here.
Yeah, they only want you to see that after you buy it.
Said that the screenshot has been verified by a VGC source. It is understood to originate from a recent test build and shows various menus planned for the Rocksteady co-op game. Now, of course, Rocksteady didn't give us an in-depth dive into the live service components, into the Battle Pass menu, the UI, and all these things because they know that that's the stuff people are least enthusiastic about. But based on that leaked screenshot, Insider Gaming bullet listed some assumptions that they made based on what they saw in that screenshot.
Holy fuck!
Some features that seem likely based on the content.
Hey, I just read that.
They said here in this article,
no fewer than 6 in-game currencies? What? This is a single-player game. What the fuck?
From last
Oh
month,
my
that
God.
it seems likely that the game will boast single-player and multiplayer gameplay, which we now know to be true, and will also feature a Battle Pass optional upgrade, through which no doubt many of the most highly coveted cosmetics and whatnot will be locked behind. And I wouldn't put it past them if they put in some gameplay-affecting rewards as well, like, I don't know, XP boosters.
Well, that's what they do. So, like, basically what they want to do is they want to, at first, they want to sell cosmetics, and then after the game is already starting to die, and the live service portion of the game is starting to die, then they add in pay-to-win stuff to milk those last people that are playing it for more money, and then they kill the game. It's like, you know, you're milking the cow, you're milking the cow, you're milking the cow, cow's getting a bit older, now you slaughter the cow and you have a steak. That's how it works. This is the life cycle. And by the way, the cow, that's you. You're the cow.
The usual stuff. Now here's where things get really grim. There are no fewer than 6 in-game currencies. That usually is an indicator for a very grindy experience. Could point towards a rather grindy requirement. I'm extremely worried about that aspect. I hate grinding on the level that live services demand. I just want a well-paced experience that has a beginning, middle, and end that I can feel satisfied with, that doesn't drag an experience out to the point of just tedium. Though, of course, insufferable grind is an intentional aspect of the experience, because that's what's going to make people throw their hands up and go, screw it, I'll just spend money on this instead of treating this as my full-time job. Game companies...
Oh, exactly, and that's kind of like, that's the issue we were talking about earlier with Lost Ark. Is like Lost Ark creates this system where you have to play the game constantly in order to keep up with it. But if you do that, then the system is designed so that you want to spend money. So it would never have been designed this way if there wasn't a way to use money to skip past it. So like it's the problem with like having pay to win and like pay for convenience features is that whenever you have these in the game, it creates a profit incentive for the developers to make it inconvenient or annoying. That's the reason. So they add intentional speed bumps for you to pay to take them away.
I like to call these microtransactions time savers, but really they are frustration mitigators. And the confusion generated by all of the different currencies will further incentivize people to just spend real money on things and get them quickly, and will also add a degree of separation between the in-game premium currencies and the real dollar value and worth. As far as UI goes, it was stated here that options closely resemble the likes of Warzone and Back 4 Blood. We got a glimpse of the UI in the gameplay showcase, and yeah, it looks like every other looter shooter, every other live service. The gear equipping, all the different rarities, all the different currencies, just everything that was on display. I'm like, oh man, that gives me a bad feeling.
Well, we've all seen this before. I think that's really what the issue is. It's that what you're really looking at is you're looking at a new skin of the same game. Like, it's even called Loadout, for example. And I get that, like, some people, like, every single time one of these games comes out, it's going to be somebody's first game like this. But there's also a certain amount of fatigue that games like this create. And I think that's why games like, for example, Vampire Survivors or like Hi-Fi Rush, let me think of a few more, like the Hogwarts Legacy game, I think to a lesser extent. Many of these games that come out that are especially more indie, they don't have these types of features in them. They're designed to just be fun to play. And they're not built with like a checklist.
I've seen that UI design and framework before. The leaks show that there's going to be an in-game store, suggesting that skins and other cosmetics will be things that you can buy for real-world money. The leak back then indicated that you'd be able to play solo with bots, which we now know to be true. And then finally, the leak showed a loadout menu that further opens the door to microtransactions potential. So yeah, look, I cannot deny that my hype for Suicide Squad and for the prospect of just a new Rocksteady game has diminished significantly. I'm approaching this game with a heavy dose of cautious I don't even want to say optimism. Honestly, I feel like I'm a little more pessimistic at this point. I've been so...
This game reminds me of a lot of... it's like I see games like this come out all the time where every single thing about the game is a B-. Like the graphics are a B-, the gameplay's a B-. Now a B- is still a B, but it is a B-. Why would I ever take my time to play this whenever I could do anything else? There's no compelling reason to play this game. It's just white noise.
Earned by these types of games, and Marvel's Avengers especially was such a travesty, and this resembles Marvel's Avengers so much in terms of its live service model that I cannot help but be pessimistic. I hope they prove me wrong, but given the history and track record of live services such as this, given the kinds of experiences that have gone out of live service models that implement similar features, it's going to be very difficult for me to really be thrilled about this one. And that goes doubly true because the gameplay, just forget about the live service stuff, just looking at the core gameplay, I was a little underwhelmed. It just feels like it has a very live service, looter-shootery, generic kind of gameplay framework where so much of it is just shooting enemies with the guns that you'll be looting.
yeah.
It doesn't feel like the game leverages their individual abilities and powers as much as they could have, because the live service framework is kind of the top priority in this game design. And even just the game design.
It's not, the live service element of it is really only used as a tool to direct users over to spending money in the game. That's what the real focus is. The focus is getting users to spend money in the game. And if you have it as a live service, you have people that are interacting with advertisements for how to spend money more often.
The level design, the set pieces are much more reminiscent of sort of generic live service missions rather than the kinds of fully fleshed out scenarios you
in-game
get
advertising,
in more campaign focused experiences. But that's just me. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Suicide Squad based on the gameplay footage we have seen and based on the information relayed about what very clearly are live service elements. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Okay.
Let me show you one of the strangest
Give me 1 second.
Suicide Squad kill.
So I don't see why they keep doing these games. Like actually that's not true. I do see why. I think that it's because this game is a safe option that will generate a profit and it will not be problematic. But I think that a lot of people are beginning to have the same feeling that I am, that they are tired of playing games that are safe. They are tired of playing games that are designed by a focus group of people who do not play video games, 5 hours a day like they do. That's the way that I feel about it. It's the Battle Pass. I think that the Battle Pass, the Game Pass, I'll talk about Battle Pass. I don't think that the Battle Pass is the fundamental problem. I think the problem, because Fortnite has Battle Passes and the Battle Passes are pretty good. And also the Traveler's Log in World of Warcraft is effectively a Battle Pass, but I think that it's a great addition to the game. I don't think Battle Passes are fundamentally bad, but I think a lot of games shoehorn Battle Passes in whenever they don't need to because the Battle Passes make more money. And also, you guys are making a very good point that Fortnite is not $70. So yeah, it's like whenever you spend $70 for a game, it's like if Harry Potter, you had the Gryffindor Battle Pass, and at the very end of it, you get to ride a griffin, if you complete it. That would have been fucking ridiculous. But it's like Harry Potter, you bought the game, you played the game, and that's it. I think that's fair. I don't see why a single-player game needs a Battle Pass. There's no need for that. Let's see, I'll read you guys a few comments. Sorely a bad taste in your mouth. Yes, exactly. YouTube video recently hit the entire problem on the head. If you're interested in it, yeah, I mean, I'd have to see it. You just link it on my Reddit, and I'll take a look at it. It's not that big of a deal. You have all the house battle pass. There's like 20. Yeah, and that's the thing is there's a lot of people that want to play different games, and I think battle passes are designed for mono gamers. And what I mean by a mono gamer is somebody who just plays one game. So it's like whenever you're playing and you have a battle pass in a game, you create this weird sense of like you have to play this game. Oh, you have to play this game. You have to play this game because you bought the battle pass for it. You feel like you're obligated to do it. It's FOMO. Yeah, exactly. Paid battle passes are a problem, to be honest, because they add an extensive advantages. Well, let me see if I can read this real quick. Fuck. Where is it? God damn it. I don't even see where that went. Oh, pay battle pass problems, to be honest, because they add intensive and advantages in game that would otherwise be in-game free, like adding convenience of expense. I don't think that... The problem is that if Suicide Squad's gameplay was amazing and really, really good, like if its gameplay was as good as... I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a shooting game. Like, I always like Gears of War gameplay. Fuck, I don't know. Like, just think of like a very, very good FPS game. And if the gameplay was fucking ridiculous, yeah, Halo 3 in 2007, nobody would be complaining about the Battle Pass. So I think the Battle Pass is just more, it's like, it's one more fucking thing. It's like if you think that it's bad, guess what? They also have a fucking Battle Pass. It's nuts. If it's really good like their, previous games. Yes, if the game is very good and it looks good and it plays well and people see there's something innovative and interesting, then I think that players will be completely receptive of a battle pass and they will not give a fuck. I think a battle pass is something that people complain about because a game is bad. I don't think there are that many people that are complaining about a battle pass in games that are genuinely well designed and well maintained. I think that Battle Pass is like, oh, look at this, another AAA game, checking all of the boxes with Battle Passes, exclusive pre-order rewards, seasons for a single-player game, and for this one, mandatory online. That's what I think. $6 currencies for a single-player game. Holy fuck. Like, that's just... Why? Why is this? Why? How does this make the experience better for the user, huh? Oh, I'll show you. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's right here.
Real world.
Oh, fuck. Let me see. I think this is just probably zooming up. Fuck. There we go. There are no fewer than 6. So again, like they probably saw 6 different currencies, but there could be 7 or 8. Yeah, it's right here. Like, I didn't just invent that. This is, and again, this is a leak. It's not guaranteed to be true, but it was verified by somebody else, and it's being DMCA'd, which implies that it probably is real, but I don't know.
There have been a lot of people wondering if Diablo 4 would just be a clone to one of its predecessors in the past. And honestly, the main way to figure something like that out is through a game's core and base structure features, which is character progression. Before we dive too deep into this topic, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to stick around until the end of the video, to see how you can earn a free copy of Diablo 4 from the Comeback Kids. Why is a great character progression system so important to a game's longevity? A progression system is a way for players to feel progress when they're playing the game. This could be as simple as unlocking new weapons or gaining new levels or achievements. It could also be a bit more complex things like gaining skills, talent points, customizing their character down the line, and unlocking new areas. A solid progression system provides players with a sense of accomplishment that keeps them engaged and motivated, as well as always wanting more. When players get a sense of reward or unlock something new, it gives them a reason to keep playing and keeps them interested in the game. The most common way for a progression system to fail is if it's simply too repetitive, or they feel like they have no meaning or end goal. Now, can Diablo 4 fulfill all of these requirements while also creating a game that doesn't feel repetitive? A way of constantly giving you a fresh experience while also not being too RNG heavy? Starting off with one of the core systems in Diablo 4, the Renown system. It's an account-based reward system which unlocks rewards for all the characters on your account, including skill points, potion charges, paragon points, and also each zone in Diablo 4 has its own specific renown progression as well. You can progress through renown in multiple ways, such as unlocking waypoints, completing side quests, finding altars of Lilith, liberating strongholds, completing dungeons, and doing some basic discovery. I think this is a phenomenal addition to the game, and for every single type of player, this can apply to. You have hardcore players who want to leg up over the competition with extra skill points and paragon points. You have completionists who just like to complete the game with it being zone varied. And even for basic players, because honestly it's just such a natural progression system that you'll be completing it as you play the game itself. It also heavily helps replayability in the game with making everything account-wide. I would easily rate this a perfect system because it's fun, unique, engaging, and helps in every aspect of the game no matter the type of player you are. Another quick system that engages in more exploring and discovery while also helping replayability is the Altars of Lilith. These stone altars are spread all across the world in Sanctuary, and after you find the altar, it will permanently increase a specific stat for all the characters on your account. This is especially useful for speeding up the boring stages of leveling, which is the early levels for another character. The one concern I have with the system is if you are allowed to spend these however you'd like with each character, because what if my main character is a barbarian and I just dump all these points into strength? Obviously, that would bring zero to little impact on a sorcerer alt that I'd like to play, so I'm assuming that you can invest these points however you'd like on a brand new character. Now, moving on to what I think is a phenomenal addition for theory crafting and testing out different builds is going to be the Codex of Power. Now, this is pretty much a giant manual that collects all legendary aspects that you've unlocked by completing specific dungeons for the first time. And for those of you that don't know, every dungeon in Diablo 4 unlocks specific legendary aspects for your Codex of Power manual, and there are a very wide variety of aspects, some for offensive, defensive, resource utility, and even mobility. These unlocks also include aspects usable for other classes, by the way, which, once again, I think it's incredible for the game's long-term health and pushing replayability more and more because no one wants to play a game where right when you make a fresh new character, you need to start over every system they have in the game that you've worked weeks or months on previously on your main character. A perfect example of good systems with awful replayability was in World of Warcraft Shadowlands, where you had so many great systems, so many things working for the game, but it started to feel like a chore because it was endless, and the worst part is that you had to start all over on every character you created, which turned 5 jobs a week on your main character into over 20 every week if you wanted to have 1 or 2 alts. And seeing Diablo 4 really honing in on this and not allowing it to happen just feels so amazing and is very refreshing as a player, whether you're casual or hardcore. Now back to the aspects that you unlock, you can actually take these and imprint them on rare and legendary items you acquire out in the open world, which very easily helps you cater to your build with having the choice of power wherever it may need to be. Now it is important to note that these powers you can imprint anytime you want aren't the strongest. They are set at the lowest legendary value, which honestly I think is great because it still gives you the want and desire to find specific legendary powers at their best power scale, but it also allows you to test out builds and playstyles very easily whenever you'd like, which for me makes me want to keep playing different builds, different power sets on all sorts of different characters. The only issue I have with this system is that you have the opportunity to make your rare items best in slot with imprinting a legendary aspect on it, because rare items have one more affect than legendary items. I go over this greatly in depth as well as some other major concerns I have with the game overall in this video displayed on the screen, so if you want to learn more, go ahead and check that out. Next up, we have skill trees, which will be very similar to Diablo 2, but overall with a nice facelift. They have gone through tons of variations with this visually, and honestly, I think it's starting to look great. So as you level up and progress through the game, you are able to spend points beginning at a skill or a passive within each cluster. After spending 1 point, you can immediately move on to the next node that is connected to the previous node, allowing for you to focus on using a certain ability or heavily improve it with passives and buffs, etc. What's great is that they even added a search function that will highlight nodes for you to help you even more in finding skills or passives to help finding a bonus to a certain ability even easier. You can respec point by point or refund all the points directly within the skill tree for gold, and the cost and effort to respec will gradually increase within the character's level. So pretty much while you're leveling, it's very important to note that you need to test out as much builds as you possibly can, because it's going to be harder down the line, which I can agree with, because there needs to be a way for players to dump their gold, or else everyone will just be overflowing with gold and rich. Okay, so now I've saved the best for last, the only system in Diablo 4 that I am actually worried about, and it's going to be the Paragon system. Now pay attention very carefully, as this can get very confusing fast. Now this system unlocks at level 50 and will serve as an endgame system. How it works is you will earn 1 Paragon point every quarter of a level, earning 4 Paragon points total per level, up to level 100. So you start at the center of your class board and work outward from there, unlocking tiles with points that you acquire. Now, I love the idea of getting 4 points per level to give you these little micro dopamine hits. But coming from a visual perspective, this thing is incredibly intimidating for beginners. There is a massive amount of directions you can go, and on top of it, there are 5 different tile types total, and each tile type can give a wide variety of effects and benefits overall. There are also even gate nodes which are placed at the edge of the boards, which you can then attach brand new boards to, and then you can move on to that other board. And before you attach the new board, you could also rotate it to optimize which of the 4 gates you'd like to start at. On top of it all, there is also a glyph system embedded into the Paragon board that you insert a glyph into a Paragon tile, and it will give the adjacent tiles a major bonus. We do know right now that glyphs have levels, which can be increased by completing certain dungeons, and increasing a glyph's level increases its radius on the tiles it affects nearby. After all that mountain of information, to me personally, this is a lot to get into. I'm not gonna lie, I love the idea of it. I just think that from a fundamental design standpoint, it's way too intimidating for a casual player. I think overall, though, it's a very cool system, and they're trying something new, which is exciting. A good progression model is vital for maintaining the player's interest. When they actually work, you can have a game that keeps people coming back for hours on end, but without it, they may not want to come back even after one session. Whether you're working on a phone game meant to be played for minutes, or a 100+ hour RPG, you must have your progression model fleshed out. So what do you guys think of all these progression systems? Do you think they're hot garbage? What would you change? What would you add? I think we have a pretty solid game, to be honest, on our hands, and I'm truly excited to be making content on it. And if you guys want to see more, please don't forget to consider subscribing. And back to the giveaway, the Comeback Kids are doing a giveaway for a free copy of Diablo 4, so if you are all interested, please visit the link in the description below to find out more details on how to win that. But anyways, that's going to be all from me, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until the very end, my name's Sky from the Comeback Kids. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!
While I was off in Switzerland doing this, back home, this was happening. Today is not going to be a particularly fun video because, as you can see, everything's become infectious. So what the hell happened? Well, pretty simple actually. Above me here, there is a lot of pipes to carrying water to all the parts of the building, including our neighbors downstairs. We're on the second floor of this building. And in the winter, it got very, very cold and the pipe tank burst. Now, we had the heating on to prevent it, so whatever actually led to it, we don't know, but it is what happened. The worst part about it is it happened on a Friday afternoon, about 7 p.m. we think. At that time, everybody had gone home. Chris, who was here editing videos while I was up in Race World First, had gone home, and our neighbors had gone home as well. Then it burst and water started flooding into the building. Not only that, the alarm went off, but nobody nearby, even though they knew about it and told us about it on the Tuesday, told anybody the alarm was going off. So this whole building was flooded for the entire weekend until Chris came in on Monday morning to see water pouring down the stairs and all the walls in the building. So what the hell did Chris walk into? Well, this was my stream room. This is where you've seen me streaming from for the past 12 months. On here were all our cameras, monitors, everything, and water was flooding down this wall, as you can see all the moles here now, and pouring into the screens. Literally through the vents at the back, water pouring in, the keyboards, the mice, the PCs that were here, all with water pouring in them and had been pouring in for 2 days. So the team had to spring into action. Unfortunately, I couldn't help. I was trapped in Switzerland and I couldn't come back to do anything to help out. But you guys did. With a combination of Chris, some family members and some viewers who managed to get down here immediately, the guys began ripping everything out of the walls, packing everything up and getting it out of this building as quickly as possible. And thank God they did, because as you can see, the stuff that got left behind, we didn't make it. Obviously, there was a priority in what could be saved in the amount of time we had. Some stuff is just simply too large to get out of here. So we contacted a moving company and a storage unit company, which you'll see over here. Shamo motherfucker, come into my crib. So we are at an abandoned pharmaceuticals factory that for some reason some of Emma's friends had, and they gave us this building to use. It's actually pretty cool. Come in. But although I'm pre-warning you guys, there's some really nasty things in here that's gone wrong. Obviously the guys had to rip everything out as fast as possible. Water pouring into the building, all the equipment getting destroyed. It needed to just be grabbed and get out of there. So they literally threw stuff in boxes and dragged it down here. And when I first came to investigate, there was a lot of water in these boxes. Now, this, some of you will be happy to know, has survived. It's fine. It's good. It's good. But we had to get a lot of our equipment out and let it dry off because we had so much stuff that we've collected over the years. And there's some mold now on the desks you've spotted, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are our desks, our office desks, which thankfully the movers actually took apart for us. They got the screwdrivers out, and I think you got the screwdriver out, and Vanish, one of our community members, got it out and just whizzed it all out. And and hopefully we can actually rescue most of this stuff. But there is some stuff that is dead. Our fat cat is covered in mold, unfortunately. Fat cat, which was one of the last ones produced. We actually ended up getting this from Square Enix. They managed to contact us and get it sent to us, and all that stuff is currently covered in mold, but maybe as part of the Preach Gaming Restoration Project, we could do something to save him. Get him cleaned, get him restuffed, whatever it might be. We'll keep you updated on that because I know many of you like the fat cat. But I guess many of you will not be mad about this. This was not here the last time I visited the storage unit. Our pawn couches are destroyed.
They'll keep a distance of them.
Yeah.
Right.
They have not survived.
That is rank.
That's bad. And it's the other one as well, over here. Yeah. These had no mold on them when I visited last time I was here. But at this point, yeah, they're gone. Thankfully, though, our soundproofing walls are fine, which is really good news, because these were a real big project by me and Chris. We did the video on that. Is that on our website? Is it released to the public?
It went on YouTube, actually.
It did go on YouTube?
Well, we built the first one, at least, didn't we?
Yeah, so our soundproofing walls are actually fine, but so thankful that we managed to know somebody who knew a guy in order to sort this out, because This is where we've moved our bigger stuff, like our GT Omega chairs. Rex Tyson will be happy. The chairs are fine, although the arms on that one.
Yeah, one's a little rough.
That's
there.
mine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my chair. Okay, so, well, that makes sense because there's so much water in my room.
Yeah.
In my stream room. But everything else is fine. Emma's chair is fine. Nux's chair is fine. Your chair is fine, actually.
Yeah.
Which is great. So just it's only the arm pads as well. I think I can get them replaced, which should be fine. But this was a big one because these chairs are like £400 each.
Yeah.
They're so expensive.
Bought that all for the fireplace set that we used once.
Yes,
Well,
we got to use once before it has been destroyed and taken apart. Along with these are all the disc plates we're giving away to people. These are actually for you guys. So when we're doing the restoration projects, we'll do some giveaways to go with them. But I'm going to do a shill moment here because disc plate are awesome to us and you can't buy these anymore. We'll hopefully have some way of getting them back online for you in the future. But we have Vinar, we have Emmett, we have a bunch of them to give away for you guys. So during the restoration projects, we'll do giveaways and things to go along with. But thank God we had this. Sylvanas survived. She seemingly just will not die. She just will not die. I think the models are here.
Plot armor for days now.
She has plot armor for days. But let's have a look. Look what they gave us. And when we're paying so little for this, this is an entire office block that they just gave to us on the day. And we haven't used any of it. And they in fact offered us, Chris, to use this space as our replacement studio, but it's very far away. It's very, very far away and it needs a lot of work.
And cold.
It's very cold. They said they would fix it all up for us and, you know, make it ready, but I'm sorry. We appreciate the help, but this is not going to work for us.
Not quite.
Let's head back to the office and let's decide what we're going to do about this. But Mike, I follow you quite closely. I know that this happened a couple of months ago. So what the hell is going on? Frankly, not a lot. This building hasn't been touched since we left, despite assurances that we were going to be back in within 1 month. Nothing seemingly has happened. And it's getting worse. As you can see, this crack here did not exist. This is new. This is a brand new crack. But we've got a good guy here, Roger Brown, who's keeping a great eye on what's going on. And in his opinion, it's not that bad. But seriously, yeah, it is kind of that bad. It's grim. But we're not going to take that approach. It took me 10 years refusing to join orgs, taking obnoxious sponsorships in order to build us to get this studio so we could improve everything for you guys and get the team working together so we could make the best content we think. And obviously this is a massive setback. But we're going to look at it as an opportunity. For example, this was our green screen area. It was our first stab at making it, and as you can see, it was basically sellotape and things stuck to the walls, and at one point we even stapled a sheet to the floor to make it work, and it wasn't ideal. So we're going to look at this as an opportunity. Even though we seemingly have perhaps endangered life living here now, as this is so disgusting. It's actually disgusting. But yeah, we're going to use this as an opportunity, guys. Why the hell not? We're going to call it the Restoration Project in tribute to Final Fantasy XIV. There's a lot we got wrong when we first decided to outfit the studio, things we dreamed we wanted and didn't quite get there. A good example would be this over here. We were really looking forward to the web shows returning. It was one of the big things we wanted with the studio. So we got the big logo, we got the plants, and you would have seen this in our Questlane Conflict tournament. But too big, and you couldn't see it in the camera shot. These are the things we're going to change, as well as how our green screen was not perfect. We're going to make that better. We're going to look and try and claim some goodness out of this. And there is some good, guys. There is absolutely some good. This area of the office stayed dry. And thankfully, a lot of our huge stuff has, we hope, been saved. Now, with the lack of work that's happened in this building, there is a lot of potential that our TVs and all the monitors that the guys were using are filled with mold, which is something we're going to have to address in the future. But our big fireplace set, which you saw start to get use after all the work of putting it together, has of course been torn apart, but it is dry. Thankfully, it is dry. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel that we haven't lost everything. We've managed to secure as much as we possibly can, and now we're going to look and use you guys as well to have suggestions, things we can do better in order to have the restoration. Ishgard was rebuilt, Doma was rebuilt, Preach Gaming will be rebuilt. It's a bit slow.
It is a bit. I can speed it up.
Yeah, you can speed it up.
Aiden Ross got banned? Did he really? Probably against his contract, not against TOS. My understanding is that he doesn't have a contract. This channel is currently unavailable due to a violation of Twitch's community guidelines or terms of service. Well, well, well. There it is. Perma-banned. I don't know if he got permit or not. I remember there was a message that would say whether somebody got permit or not. Let me see if somebody can see that. Yeah, it doesn't say whether it was a perma or not. He broke the law that sharing porn stuff with minors, even if you break the law off Twitch, it's still against the law. I think that's why. So you guys think maybe he got banned for showing porn? I mean, I don't see the logic in... I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, there are people that are literally porn stars on Twitch that stream. There's girls that do OnlyFans that stream. And I think that obviously a lot of those people post things that are nudity or at least softcore porn on Twitter, which doesn't have an age restriction on it. So I don't really see... I don't think that's as clear cut. I think that it could also just be something as simple as this. Can we just be honest that Aiden Ross has been a bit of a problem boy for Twitch? I think that he has been. He has been a problem boy. It's now the real reason he was banned on a technicality. I don't think they would even wait to ban him on a technicality. Aiden Ross, big streamer because of attention for him to get it banned. Yeah, I think that's what would be it. Stop using logic to define Twitch bans. Yeah, I think that's probably it. So, I mean, it's very hard for me to say whether somebody ever, like, really deserves to get banned. Does he deserve to get banned? I think there's a lot of people that want him to get banned. I absolutely think so. What did he do on Twitch that would make him get banned? The only abstract rule that I could assume is that advertising your OnlyFans on Twitch is against the TOS. Because there's porn on OnlyFans. So, if Kick allows porn on their website, and Aiden Ross advertises Kick, he is effectively advertising a porn website. Logically. However, Twitter has porn, and YouTube has naked yoga. This is not a very strong rule that is, you know, consistent. That is that's. Oh wait, I'm thinking through this. Let's see. That's it. Very hard to understand. I mean, they allow gambling on Kick. Maybe it was that. But then why isn't Train banned? So I think the fact that Train isn't banned, and also, by the way, they could ban Train in 5 minutes. And, like, they just banned Aiden Ross right now, and they're going to ban Train tomorrow. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's search it. Yeah, let's look up boobs on Twitter, and we'll see what comes up. And nudity's everywhere? Yes, I think so. So, the rule is so vague, so they can do whatever they want and justify it? Yeah, and I don't think that the only time that I think Twitch has ever come out and said, hey, this is why this person is getting banned, was actually whenever they suspended XQC for a week because he fucking grabbed Dr. Lupo in a Twitch Rivals event because he was gonna lose. And it's like they had to do something about it, right? Because like stream sniping is like technically against the rules, and XQC's big streamer. Like if they don't do something about it, they had to. But it was so fucking stupid. That was the only time that Twitch actually made a statement on it. I think that Twitch should make more statements on why they suspend people. I do think so. Because if they just came out and said, they were like, listen, like, we don't like the Andrew Tate shit. We don't like the stuff that you're saying about women. We don't like the fact that you're advertising another platform. We don't like the fact that you're streaming porn on that other platform, which, by the way, he only screamed. It's not like he sat and he watched a 30-minute porn video with them, right? But he did show porn on the stream intentionally. Even if it was only a thumbnail. But anyway, we don't like all these things. We don't want you on the platform. fuck off. We'll see if he makes any statement on this. Let's see. Is he saying anything? Has he tweet about this yet? No, he just tried to ask some girl out. So that was about it. Let's see. They don't want that because it makes them liable for a counter lawsuit. The more they say, the more they can be held liable, like with Dr. Disrespect. I mean, I think that's kind of a bad example, though, right? Because didn't Dr. Disrespect, they've never made any statement on that whatsoever. So, like, if the implication is that that's why they're not doing it, I don't think Dr. Disrespect is a good example. You could be right, but I just don't think Doc is a good example. He made comments on YouTube, Aiden Live. What did he say? Do you think Kai will break the sub record? Yeah, I think so. I think he will. Transparency only benefits people who have no nasty agendas to hide. No, it does not. Transparency also allows people to get a better view into the rule system so they can learn how to better calibrate bending the rules. So, for example, that's why Blizzard doesn't do mass bans, is because whenever they do mass bans, they, sorry, I got distracted again. Whenever they do consistent bans like every day, it allows people to calibrate how exactly, by like A/B testing, they can calibrate how exactly they're being detected and then work against it. That's why I think YouTube and Twitch are intentionally vague with why they ban people, so people are afraid and they don't try to push the rules. That's what I think. Because that's logical and it's the least effort. You got a hot tub stream open on the second month. Yeah, there's nuance with enforcement, but also this is a lot of people's careers, just to be honest, at least to a degree. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really going to celebrate a streamer being deplatformed for something that is not a violation of the terms of service. Like, I'm not celebrating this at all. I don't think anybody should really be celebrating this. I think that also, I can see why they are, though. Especially for people who really don't like hearing the shit about Andrew Tate, and they really don't like that. Because, like, again, I've seen a lot of the Andrew Tate stuff about how, like, some of the testimony could be potentially fake, etc. But he's a he's a controversial guy, and a lot of things he says, a lot of people don't like to see. So you don't even know why he was banned, though? You're totally right about that, Pride. And the truth is, I could be totally off base, and we could find out why Aiden Ross was banned, and everybody would be in agreement of, yeah, he totally should have been banned for that. Absolutely. We don't know if that's true, but it could be. I think it was an unjust ban based on what I know, but I don't think Aiden deserved it. I also think it was dumb, as they're now pushing his audience away to Kick. Yeah, I don't think that he even really had that big of an audience to begin with on Twitch. I think that his audience that's really big, and Aiden Ross is a very big content creator, but that audience is mainly on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. And that's why, question marks? Okay. Here we go again. Aiden Ross has a massive audience on Twitch, but that audience is mostly an extension from his audience on other platforms. That's why he's able to go over to Kick and maintain relatively the same viewership. You understand? So it's not that Aiden Ross doesn't have an audience on Twitch, but the majority of people who follow Aiden Ross probably did not find him on Twitch. They found him on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, or YouTube. That makes it easier for him to transition from Twitch to Kick because he doesn't need to migrate Twitch viewers over to Kick. All he has to do is migrate Twitter viewers over to Kick instead of Twitch. So he doesn't have to make... They have to go from one platform to another platform. They only have to go from one platform to this platform. I really don't want to have to do the Microsoft. I should save this Microsoft Paint drawing because this is going to be an issue as Kick and these other platforms become more popular. So, yes. I understand, like, I would never throw shade at Aiden. Like, I would never, like, try to discount him or diminish what he does or anything like that. There is a part of me that likes Aiden Ross. I think that he says stupid stuff a lot, and there's a lot of things that I don't agree with that he says, but that's the same as anybody else. I'm not going to sit here and shit on him and say how dumb he is or how stupid he is or anything like that. I can understand why somebody would interpret what I said as being that, but hopefully now that I explained my point of view, you guys can see where I'm coming from. Do you think Kick would really become the next big platform? It depends on the lawsuits. I don't know. It's just that he can't hold a conversation with me. Well, then don't watch him. That's fine. Wouldn't Twitch be liable for negligence then? For all other streamers that do the same thing and not get banned? No. Because you signed the contract then to say that, like, the only thing that Twitch cannot ban people for is they can't ban people for being part of a protected group. So, for example, they can't ban somebody for being gay. They can't ban somebody for being a woman. They can't ban somebody for being black. But they can ban, you know, like, somebody for a political opinion. They can ban somebody for... just like how they talk. They can ban somebody for playing different video games. They can ban almost anything. You see what I'm saying? Let's see Aiden viewership graph. Why? They can, but they won't ever release that as the reason. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure sexual orientation is protected though. I don't want to argue about it. I think it is. Maybe it's not. Who cares? The point is that if you're a part of certain protected classes in the U.S., you literally cannot be banned on basis of being that particular class. Which is a good thing, by the way. We don't want to have a platform banning people because they're a certain gender or a certain skin color. Nobody wants that. It's bad. Do you agree with Twitch's terms of service? Yes and no. There are some things on Twitch's terms of service that I do disagree with. The majority of suspensions that happen on Twitch, I think, are fair. I would say 90% of them, I think, are fair. However, there are times where they make mistakes. And I can talk about a suspension that I had. So one time I got suspended for including duration. Well, duration is much. Let me talk about what I'm going to talk about. So one time I got suspended because somebody said the N-word in Diablo Immortal general chat. And I didn't want to draw attention to it because then that person kind of got what they wanted and they said I didn't move it off the screen, etc. And so I got suspended for that. And not only did I get suspended for that, but I got suspended for that within 20 minutes of it happening. So I actually, I contacted Twitch, I sent in an appeal, and my appeal was declined. And then I made a video after the appeal was declined, and then my appeal was then retroactively reevaluated and approved, and I was unbanned the next morning. So I do absolutely think that Twitch does fuck up, 100%. And it really made me mad that I had to do that. It absolutely did. Like, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that it happened. However, I do think that my case is the minority case. I don't think that this usually happens. And I'm willing to give Twitch the benefit of the doubt in most circumstances. So dumb, literally have a platform on YouTube, unbanned you? Yes. That word is half of Kai's vocabulary. using the N-word with the R and not the A is a lot different. If you're not from America, you're not going to get it. But it's like a huge big difference here. But like one of them is like not a big deal at all. The other one is like the worst thing you can say. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you to acknowledge this is how it is. Okay? You reckon Twitch chat uses as an excuse to ban you? I don't know. I mean, it could have been a million different things. I'm not going to create a conspiracy because there's no reason to. Yeah, it's also a double standard when people can use it. Yes, there are a lot of double standards in the world, and that is one of them. I don't want to go through and talk about racial double standards in modern America. Can we just not use racial terms? Like, can we please just fucking stop this? Like, I don't know why this is so hard for people. Just, can we fucking stop? It's driving me crazy. I hear people saying this stuff all the time. Yeah, Aiden still hasn't messaged or said anything. I'll give it a few minutes and then we'll move on. So Kai must have got banned then, but it was in the background. It wasn't him. He played off like someone said finger. Well, I have no idea. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I hate this thing. Like, this is again like this like hall monitor shit. Why are we talking about this? Why are we doing this as these hall monitor things? Like, this is so annoying. Like, oh, we need to get this guy banned. What the? It's like dorky shit. What the fuck? Who cares? Isn't that crazy? You can't watch banned streamers' content. Yeah, I think it's silly. And do you plan on staying on Twitch, or would you switch platforms? Well, I have no idea. I don't know. But like, just in general, the comparison, yeah, it's just crazy, man. And grannies, which is here. Do I have to attach crypto wallet to kick? No, I don't think so. We got jerked off live on stream. Yeah, but like, they're not gonna ban him for getting jerked off live on stream, because it's just the reason why they're not gonna ban him. I don't think they're going to ban him. There's a number of different reasons. Number one, he's on like a massive subathon and he's making them tons of money. That's number one. Number two, it is like it is an allegation. This is a theory. It was not obvious, or maybe it was obvious, I didn't watch the clip, but it is not certain that he got jerked off. I don't want somebody to get banned for something just because a lot of people think that's what happened.